It's lovely, as you say, though, Richard, to see the youngsters here again. I think that's what English football is all about, especially at Wembley. A Wembley final is tremendous because it does bring the family out again, and they can come and enjoy themselves and have a good day and enjoy it. And I think that's tremendous to see.
Just pause for a moment to listen to the reception for these two. Now this is when the butterflies start, isn't it?
Yes, you certainly feel it when you come up the top of that tunnel, don't you?
Well, that's right. As soon as that roar hits you, you feel, God, let me get over there quickly. Let me get this handshaking bit done. Let's get the anthems out of, hey, and give me a ball to kick or head or do something with. But players really, they don't like this bit.
I always remember in '76 when we played Southampton in the final against United, we walked out and we saw a few of the United players and they were dreading playing. And then we had guys like Jimmy McKelly, myself, Shannon and Peter Rodriguez who'd been and done it before, and we were just like this crowd who enjoyed the occasion, and we certainly did. And they do freeze, don't they, some players?
You know, even before this bit, before the actual walk, there's 5, 6, 7 minutes when the players are in the tunnel when we don't see them. And you're there, you know, you're looking at, you're lined up maybe a yard away from the guy you've got to battle with in the next 10 minutes or so. And you're looking, well, he looks nervous. Oh, I'm going to have him this afternoon. You know, and all things that go through your mind. Players don't like this. They want to get the handshake a bit done, as I said.
I was just looking at Cloughie there, very sharp suit, no gimmicks. He had, of course, the world's greatest grandad rosette, didn't he, before the
What's the odds on, then, Richard, that after the presentations, the team were warming up, he'd disappear behind in that tunnel there. He would disappear and come out with his green top on and his blue tracksuit bottom. What odds on that, I wonder?
I mean, Cloughie. He's Cloughie, isn't he? Yes, he's a great man. We all respect him. Anybody that's played the game and anybody that still plays the game, I think, if you say you love him or hate him, but most people do love him. He's a tremendous character, and it's lovely to see him there and still doing well.
He would certainly be a hard act to follow if and whenever he decides to retire. I wouldn't like to be the one to follow him, that's for sure.
Well, we hear week in, week out different things, don't we? The last I thought was that he'd said he'd stay on and have another go at the FA Cup next year. The presentations, a few handshakes, as you said. Down the lines we go. To Joe Solari, incidentally, that is, Larry, president of Zenith Data Systems Europe. Yeah, but he's just shaking hands there with the young goalkeeper, Andrew Marriott, bless him. He's come in for the last 2 games after the bit of hassle that Mark Crossley had in his hometown of Barnsley. But that young man, he's a lucky man, but I'm certain he's one that's going to enjoy this You'll know
afternoon.
how he'll feel. You played in '78 against Liverpool with Chris Woods in goal. Here.
There you go. And all week I've been saying I think Clough will play young Marriott in goals, because I go back to '78, there was a young goalkeeper, Chris Woods. Shilton was cup tied, so they threw this young boy in behind us, and he played exceptionally well.
Played more than exceptionally well, didn't he, to be fair?
Well, yeah, he made 1 or 2 saves, but Kenny Burns himself kept him out.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the case.
Right.
And Southampton, Peter, Tim Flowers has been an important part of their season.
He's done tremendously well for them, yes, and guys like Barry Horn, for me, and workhorse in the team, don't get a lot of credit, but they're the sort of guys you want around. And obviously you've got the flair guys up front, Shearer, and obviously Matt would be last somewhere there, but Kevin Moore's coming and done ever so well, and there's Matt, but he looks like he's going to enjoy himself.
I hope he performs.
Yes, we certainly
do. He disappoints sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but they've had a lot of problems at the club, and I think there's been a bit of an internal rowing going on, but I think they've got it together now, and I'm sure they'll put it behind them today, and I'm sure they'll have to turn it on for us.
Right, well, we'll pause a moment or so for the national anthems. Peter, briefly, you're on the Saints?
I certainly am, yes.
Larry?
Well, it's got to be Forest.
What?
And quite comfortably, I think.
Do you?
Yes.
He's bigger than me, Peter.
I'm not going to argue with him either, though.
Well, I'm not going to catch up and face in Nottingham tonight if I don't say that.
Let's pause for the national anthems. First Wembley final of the season, the Zenith Data Systems Cup. Forest against Southampton. It's live here on Sky Sports. Match commentators Ron Atkinson and Peter Brackley.
A very good afternoon to you on this memorable Wembley day out then for players and supporters alike. A much maligned competition in some quarters, but what professional footballer, I wonder, wouldn't happily swap places with those lucky enough to be on centre stage today. So let's take a look then at the two lineups, starting with the Nottingham Forest side. In goal, young Andy Marriott, preferred then to Mark Crossley. 2, Gary Charles, the one fitness doubt in the side, that's been cleared up. 3, the incomparable Stuart Pearce, the Iron Man of Forest. 4, his England teammate Des Walker. 5 is Darren Wassell, his first Wembley final. 6, Roy Keane, an excellent season for the young Irishman. 7, Gary Crosby. 8, Scott Gemmell, his first Wembley final too. 9, the son of Brian, Nigel Clough. 10, another Wembley debutant, Teddy Sheringham. And 11, Kingsley Black. Well, alongside me in the commentary box then is Ron Atkinson. So Ron, your thoughts on how the Forest side will be shaping up?
Yes, it'll be their tried and trusted lineup. Flat back 4, 4 across midfield with Crosby and Black working the flanks up and down. Clough tucked in just behind Sheringham. It's a system that they've used for year in, year out. Only thing I wonder about looking at it is there a shortage of height at the back, particularly with a young goalkeeper. I just wonder whether people like Ruddock may exploit that a little bit on set plays, Peter.
Right, let's check then on the Southampton side. In goal, Tim Flowers. 2, Jeff Kenner, another young Irishman. 3, Francis Benali. 4, Barry Horn. 5, Kevin Moore, 33 years old now. 6, Neil Ruddock. Hopefully his disciplinary problems are behind him. 7, the enigmatic Matt Letizia, back in favour today with Michael Jukes cup-tied. 8 is Glenn Cockerell, the club captain. 9, Alan Shearer, so much resting then on his young shoulders. 10, Ian Dowie. And 11, Terry Hurlock, who's the only Saint to have featured in a major cup final here before. That was from Brentford against Wigan in the Freight Rover Trophy. Ron.
Yes, I think they've got a few problems, bearing in mind they've got no natural left-sided player, attacking-wise, that is. Back 4, OK, Moore and Ruddock, both left-sided defenders, but experienced and competent. I just wonder how the absence of Adams is going to affect them there. It looks as if we feel Horn will probably try and sit on Clough. I just wonder whether Dowie may be asked to work up and down the left-hand side a little bit more than partner Shearer. Perhaps leave Shearer a little bit alone on through the middle, and Letizia filling in the right-hand side.
Right, well, we're ready then for the toss-up, so let's join Nick Collins down there. Nick?
Well, Stuart Pearce has the coin, and I can tell you that Keith Hackett has given him a 1950 2-shilling bit. They've tossed up. Who's won the toss?
Stuart won the toss.
Stuart Pearce has won the toss for Nottingham Forest. And we'll tell you any moment, and he's electing to stay put. So Nottingham Forest will defend the goal with which their fans are behind.
Forest, of course, the old hands, their 5th Wembley appearance now then in 4 astonishing seasons. The referee today, Keith Hackett from Sheffield, a very experienced official. He took charge of the FA Cup finals back in 1981, Spurs and Manchester City, that went to a replay, of course. And it was also Keith who took charge of the semi-final of the FA Cup last season when Forest went through against West Ham, and he sent off Tony Gale. So I suppose he endeared himself to Forest supporters that day anyway. So we're all set then for the start of the 1992 Zenith Cup final. Southampton in their change strip, all blue. Forest want the right to wear their normal strip. Southampton had choice of dressing room here today. Southampton to kick off. Two teams who've impressed so much in cup football this season, and two sides with honours even too so far. Forest knocked Saints out of the Rumbelows Cup at the second attempt, but lost at home to them in the league. And let's hope the teams can relax today and turn on a showpiece to match the occasion. The pitch, as ever, in immaculate condition, but there has been a lot of heavy rain here, especially in the last few hours. So as the lads have been saying in the studio, I think it's going to be rather greasy on top. But so often that makes for even more excitement. In towards Dowie, but Wassell was there. Sheringham's header, now Kingsley Black. Had Pearce in support. Now here's Nigel Clough. Away by Cockerell. In search of Shearer, who's being tightly shadowed already, of course, by Des Walker. What a confrontation run that promises to be, Shearer and Walker there.
Yes, very much so. Shearer, Lone Ranger battles against possibly the quickest defender in the First Division. Interesting to see. I was wondering how they'd fill in the left-hand space. Well, it looks at the moment as if Laetitia is going to play on that side of the field. And Dowie's going to stay right up front alongside Shearer.
Here's Stuart Pearce. And it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. 4 straight successive now in the league. And Southampton have had a good run too. They've only lost a couple in their last 17, both of those indeed to Norwich. And Southampton have certainly tightened up defensively lately. Indeed, that's coincided with the return to the side of Kevin Moore, the veteran defender who'd been out on loan to Bristol Rovers. And since he's come back, well, things have been a lot more secure defensively for a team struggling down near the foot of the table. And of course their priority this season remains, Southampton, to avoid the drop. Shearer. Away come Forest though, but not too far. And Cockerell with a punch tackle then on Stuart Pearce. Plenty of aggression in the Southampton side, something they've rather overdone this season with 66 bookings and 5 sendings off. So they've got an appalling disciplinary record, it has to be said, Southampton. But nonetheless, Ron, they have individuals who can turn this game.
Yes, well, we keep talking about the two on top, of course, Shearer and Laetitia. I mean, every time I see them, they all seem to produce. Both outstanding talents. A lot of talk as well when we were suggesting that Horn may sit out and pick up Nigel Clough. We've just seen Ruddock get drawn onto him there and have quite a few problems. I don't think Ruddock's going to be very happy if he has to drop out from the back line to try and pick up Clough. Ruddock's better being the last man organising things.
Sheringham. Good interception though by Hurlock, who was fouled, and Keith Hackett had already blown the whistle, so there was no advantage to be accepted there by Southampton. But a tigerish challenge by Terry Hurlock, who again is going to be a key man in the midfield area, along with Barry Horn. Ruddock has gone forward. Kenner's free kick. And the header safely gathered by Andy Marriott.
Yes, I think that's an area where Southampton are going to give Forest a lot of problems. Probably would represent possibly their best chance of scoring today. They are very, very effective. They've got big people. The Shearer there getting right on top of Charles for the header. But they've got big people who can come up and make things happen. And also the fact they've got this boomerang throw of Ruddock's. He can virtually hurl it to the far post.
Yes, he has a prodigious long throw, Neil Ruddock, and it's a very effective part of Southampton's armoury. Up towards Dowie, who's been scoring some vital goals lately. Match-winning goals in league games that have given Southampton a lifeline in their efforts to stay in the top flight. This is Charles for Nottingham Forest. Clough, delicate layoff then. In goes Cockerell. Now Hurlock getting forward. Whistle's gone though. Marriott makes the save anyway, which won't do his confidence any harm. Now Stuart Pearce may well have a problem here. There's no tougher defender around than Pearce, so you can rest assured that he's injured if he stayed down. There'll be no feigning from this fellow. Magnificent leader he has been for Nottingham Forest in recent seasons, Stuart Pearce. And of course, captain of England too in the week for the international in Czechoslovakia.
Yes, there'll be a few wingers looking at that picture now, enjoying it, won't there? Stuart Pearce having treatment for an injury and a tackle.
He's sorted 1 or 2 out down the years.
He's sorted 1 or 2 out most matches, never mind down the years.
Yeah, that was Glenn Cockerell's challenge. I think Cockerell better keep his eyes open for Stuart Pearce being around from now on. Now Ruddock for Southampton, who started fairly confidently. No sign of any real nerves for them so far. Kenner overhitting his pass though, young Jeff Kenner.
Yes, all the talk about the midfield, the Southampton midfield, what the job Horn was going to do. It looks as if Ian Bramford single out Roy Keane, and probably rightly so, as the danger man, and Horne's looking very much to do a one-to-one job on him. It would worry me a little bit that they're allowing their back four players to deal with Nigel Clough, because I think that, with all due respect to Ruddock and Kevin Moore, neither of them are particularly mobile.
Shearer, who most certainly is mobile. Such an athletic player, Alan Shearer. What a prospect he is. Now, Stuart Pearce. Here's Clough pulling the strings. On for Gemmell. Breaking so quickly from midfield. Sheringham now. And Gemmell going on. And it was Horne with a covering tackle. Well read then by Barry Horne, who's been in tremendous form lately for Southampton. And he certainly needed to be at his most alert then. Gary Charles towards Wassell, and Sheringham with the header.
Yes, he caught Southampton napping, and the little short corner, all the Southampton defenders had turned their back and gone into the middle of the box, and they've taken a little short corner there between Charles and Crosby. And Sheringham there, perhaps will feel he might have done better.
Sheringham with 20 goals for Nottingham Forest this season, including a couple in the Zenith Cup against Leeds too. I remember one of the early matches that we covered in the competition.
Yeah, he's also, we talk about him as a goal scorer, you know, he's a very, very integral part of Forest's attacking build-up, because as we saw there, they play into him an awful lot, and then it's his job to make sure he retains possession for the midfield.
Flags up, offside. Letitia hasn't seen the flag.
Well, that was the outcome of a Shearer flick, and that's the problem area, I think, for Forest today. As Larry Lloyd said earlier, they are quick, mobile and agile, Wassell and Walker, but they do have that slight problem in the air.
Now, Steve Chettle is going through his paces here, and I would think there's a very strong chance that Stuart Pearce is going to have to come off. So what a hammer blow that would be for Nottingham Forest to lose their captain. He's certainly been struggling. I'm sure he'll do his best to run it off, but they're warming up Steve Chettle, a very versatile player, just in case he can't continue. Now, what about that, Ron?
Well, that's a shock, isn't it? I mean, whether it's something he was carrying before the game, maybe it's something a legacy from the international. I mean, it was a firm challenge of Cockerell's earlier on, but it wouldn't have appeared to have done the sort of damage that would make Stuart Pearce come off the field.
Dowie. Here's Hurlock, now then to Kenner. Towards Dowie, it was a brave header out by Wassell, and it was a foul anyway. So Brian Clough with some thinking to do, and he'll certainly be keeping a very careful eye on the progress of Stuart Pearce over the next few minutes. Can ill afford to lose him. This is Charles. Andy Marriott, who's kept 2 clean sheets in the 2 games he's played. And Brian Clough deciding there was no Wembley place today for Mark Crossley, who's been in problems, or having problems off the field, of course. Much publicised. So Marriott's come in, and he's clearly done a good enough job in the last 2 games to warrant his selection today. Pearce, up jumping Cockerell. He's still looking a little pained, Stuart Pearce. But no sign yet of a switch being made.
See Liam Kane, the trainer, looks as if he's going to come round to Pearce's side of the field, maybe just to get a check on him.
As Walker showing his tremendous pace, how quickly he hit up the ground then. Charles with the interception, and there's nobody upfield at all for Forest.
No, you'll not see that happening very much. I don't think the manager will like that too much. Charles just welling the thing upfield. I mean, that's something that's ingrained to all Forest players. Looks as if he gave him flack there straight away. It's ingrained to them. Wherever you are, you keep possession, you pass.
Yes, that's not the Forest style, to simply hoof it upfield. Intricate patterns is more their way of doing things. Of course, they've delighted us this season and over recent seasons with the quality of their football, Forest. Much of it around this fellow, Nigel Clough. Now Keane. What a revelation he has been for Nottingham Forest. Sheringham. There's Crosby. Maybe a first chance for him to shine in this game so far, but Benali there with a thunderous tackle on Gary Charles.
But you saw in the earlier part of that build-up, Peter, just how important Sheringham is to them. He holds the ball up to enable attacking midfield players or even the fullbacks to get forward.
Keane almost got away then from Benali. Yes, Teddy Sheringham has had to adapt to the Forest style, but he's done that to really good effect this season since his move from Millwall. And of course he played at Millwall with Terry Hurlock in the Southampton side, and also Steve Wood, who's on the bench for Southampton today, so he'll know all about them. Clough with Horn, then Kevin Moore hoisting it forward. Might fall for Dowie, so the TCA was there too. There's the danger that the TCA poses.
That was a remarkable shot. Here you see them winning the heading duel. And I mean, so laid back, and he's hit a tremendous left foot volley there that Marriott's made quite a useful save on.
It was such a nonchalant effort.
Yeah, it was the sort of thing you would look as if he was doing on in a five-a-side before training or whatever. Might in a Wembley Cup final.
Well, he's an astonishing player, Mathieu Le Tissier. Only he can just find that level of consistency that he needs. Of course, he's been very consistent in this competition in terms of goal scoring. 6 Zenith Cup goals in the campaign, including 4 against Chelsea in the area final. 3 of them in one game, the second leg. But again, Brantford dropped him after his sending off in the FA Cup tie against Norwich. Left him out against Luton. So he's certainly been in and out of favour with the manager all season. And it must be frustrating, Ron, you would know this as a manager, to have a player who you can see the talent that he has, but he just doesn't always produce it. Oh yeah, it would drive you up the wall, but I mean, as a neutral, you love him to have the ball. You love to come and see games he's playing in. But I can imagine sometimes the problems that his own manager will have with him. But I will say this for him, he does weigh in most years with a fair total of goals. There's the TCA now, chasing with Charles. So Southampton so far, certainly by no means overawed by the occasion.
No, it's one of those performances when you play Forest, you can get lulled a little bit because they are having most of the play territorial at Southampton. But that sometimes suits Forest to try and catch the opposition on the break.
This is Jeff Kenner taking the throw then for Southampton. No score so far. Shearer losing out. Des Walker, one of England's few successes really at the international against Czechoslovakia. There's Walker now bursting forward. Sheringham. Walker's onto the return. He's got 3 in the middle, and Benali just whisked it away then as Crosby came in.
That was magnificent football from Forest, particularly by Des Walker. I mean, he's scored 1 goal in about the last 6 or 7 years, and yet looked very, very comfortable coming forward there.
In towards Keane. Falls in for Gemmell! Oh, yes! Magnificent strike by Scott Gemmell. And Nottingham Forest go in front. Scott Gemmell, on his first Wembley appearance in a cup final, delights his manager Brian Clough. And that was a spanking effort then. Keane wins it here. Now there's the effort from Scott Gemmell.
Well, that's finishing of the highest order, isn't it? Nice and composed, gets himself into a good shape. Just takes one touch. We saw Le Tissier a few minutes earlier strike a similar sort of a shot. Then we see Gemmell put them in the lead with a brilliant volley. That absolutely brilliant.
15 minutes gone. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Southampton 0, and Scott Gemmell's 9th goal of the season.
It was also noticeable when the goal took place. Pearce went straight over to the bench, and I think that switch is going to be made, Peter.
Dowie knocks it down. Shearer on the turn. As Southampton look to bounce straight back.
Yes, Pearce is absolutely... He's got to come up. There's no way he'll stay on now.
Hurlock. Barry Horn. And Horn's got a pretty lethal shot from long range, as Bolton will testify. He scored a superb goal against them in the FA Cup recently. Indeed, he got 2 goals for Southampton that day as they went through. Scott Gemmell, the goal scorer, has really brought this final to life now. Here's Crosby. Forest visibly lifted by the goal. Young Scott Gemmell, son, of course, of Archie Gemmell, on the Forest coaching staff. One of their great names from the past. And now Steve Chettle is coming on, and Stuart Pearce is going off. He's getting a tremendous reception, as you'd imagine, from the Forest fans. I don't think Southampton will be too displeased at seeing him go off, but it's a real blow for Forest, and of course for Stuart Pearce, the Forest captain. So on comes Steve Chettle, playing rather more of the final than he would have anticipated. Charles now. Gemmell again! Oh, great save by Flowers. Kingsley Black, the flag's up now. But Gemmell so close then to a second goal. And Southampton rescued by the agility of Tim Flowers.
It's once again made by a defender coming forward. Thought he was a little bit vigorous there, Charles, with his challenge, but he sets the ball back in the path of Gemmell here. And as you said, tremendous save from Flowers.
What a reflex action then shown by Tim Flowers, who's had a really consistent season, behind often a troubled defence too. They were leaking goals all over the place earlier on in the season. But Tim Flowers maintained his consistency, and really it's his goalkeeping that's given them a chance of staying up in the First Division, and indeed brought them as far as they have in cup competitions. And he's certainly saved his team then, as Stuart Pearce, disconsolate figure, makes his way down the tunnel.
I think some of the Forest lads, Keane and Gemmell in particular, have started to realise now that the Southampton, or the heart of the defence, isn't particularly quick. And when they get their passing game going and supporting from midfield, it could be made to measure for them.
Chettle with the intended through pass. Benali was there. Well, we could look again here at the goal scored by Scott Gemmell. One there by Keane in the air. And how's that for a finish by Scott Gemmell? Tremendous goal. Now off goes Shearer. No, the whistle's gone. Keith Hackett will bring play back for a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Alan Shearer with 19 goals for Southampton in this difficult season for them. Sheringham with more. Here's Kingsley Black. Got away from 2 challenges there, one of them from the combative figure of Terry Hurlock. The TCA now switching to the right.
Yeah, I wonder whether he's been put over here deliberately to try and test Chettle, or whether it's just in the pattern of play he's just drifted across. But it may very well be that they've decided to try a Chettle early.
Well, that tackle was in the Stuart Pearce mould. Steve Chettle, who's played a prominent role in Forest's success in recent seasons, but has had to fight for his place this time around.
He's not a stranger to a full-back position. He spent a long time, didn't he, one season, playing right back for them.
Yes, although a left-footed player, he did have that right-back slot for quite some time. But now filling in for Stuart Pearce on the left. Kenner with a cross, drilled in. Keane only half cleared it. There's the TCA. Forest struggling to get it away. Eventually they do. But only as far as Benali. Now then for Dowie. The TCA's in the middle. Walker was there and rather sliced his clearance.
Southampton at the moment seem to have got their teeth drawn. You know, the goal down, they've sensed Pearce going off, and this looks a big spell for them at the moment. And this is a situation where you know, I predicted that they may very well punish Forest.
And they're so anxious to show Southampton that they can play as well as scrap. Oof. Well, that was Roddick in there. I think the whistle had gone anyway. Battissier just chipping it in.
Difficult to see a free kick there, wasn't it? It looked a little bit of... In actual fact, he looked like one of the Forest defenders grappling with a Southampton player.
Southampton certainly not lying down here. Battissier. In goes Hurlock. Now that for Shearer. Walker inevitably is with him. There's Kenner, the early ball in search of Shearer. Shearer pulls it back well too, and Roy Keane was there.
Yes, that was good football from Southampton. Up back and through, lovely through ball from the right full-back Kenner. But once again, this is the sort of situation, this is what they need, Southampton. They need to apply pressure. They need to work the Forest defence, particularly, as I say, aerially.
Well, there's only one Southampton player in the 6-yard box, the rest making their attack from further out. There was more, and Marriott with a comfortable save. A nerve-wracking occasion for Andy Marriott, but so far he's standing up to the test well.
It's been good for him as well, because he's had a fair bit to do without having anything that can jangle the nerves a little bit. He's been involved. He's made one very good stop from Letizia, and generally he's been worked.
Nottingham lad, he's only 21. Andy Marriott came from Arsenal a couple of years ago, and he's had loan spells out with Blackburn and Colchester and Burnley. But I'm sure a few weeks ago he hadn't kept on playing in this final. And of course the Rumbelows final coming up in a couple of weeks as well. Players' strike permitting. Safely through to Tim Flowers. Southampton just beginning to get a grip on the game now, albeit from behind after that goal from Scott Gemmell early on. Across comes Des Walker. Scored an own goal here, of course, in the FA Cup final defeat by Tottenham last season. Now, is this going to be a long throw-in by Jeff Kenner? Not long enough. Chettle was there. Kenner again. We've got plenty of players forward here, Southampton. One of them then was Cockerell. Wassell, though, out-jumping Shearer. Ruddock back in. Here's Dowie now. Trying to turn. There's just no space for them to find any room there. Really congested just outside that Forest 18-yard box. They've got everybody back defending Forest. And then a rather sloppy pass from Kevin Moore, and it all comes to nothing.
Yes, one of the things that Southampton will know they can do is when a ball comes out to them, when they've had Forest under pressure, is load it straight back in, because Forest are not the sort of team that most teams will clear the penalty box and try and catch people offside. Forest will stay in there and keep numbers in there, and that does give them a chance to build up some pressure, Southampton.
Kenner just got it before Teddy Sheringham. Jeff Kenner, who's in the side really because of Jason Dodd being out through injury. Although in fairness to Kenner, he kept him out of the team anyway for a while when Dodd was out of favour. 20 minutes of the first half to go. Horn. Now this is Benali. Won't find Shearer though, because Walker is there. A very robust challenge then by Benali that has left Crosby on the ground. Looked a bit cumbersome, Ron.
Yes, but it actually has been a very, very competitive game. It hasn't been one of those. Sometimes you see this final and it can be a little bit slow tempo. This has been a high tempo game. Yes, he's probably left his left leg in a little bit more than the lad that wanted him to have done.
Here's Clough. Trying to shake off Roddick, which wasn't too easy. Neil Roddick, who certainly had his problems this season. 3 suspensions. He's had a couple of sendings off, and of course he was left out and indeed put on the transfer list by Southampton earlier in the campaign, but he's battled his way back again. Here's Gemmell. Excellent skill by him, and then the cross just too long for Sheringham. Letitia. In towards Shearer. Found him superbly. Dowie now. Here's Cockrell. Horn fighting Letitia. In towards Shearer, but Walker covered that one. There's Keane getting into trouble. And that might have ricocheted into the path of Shearer there. So Forest just a little sloppy at the back. Here's Keane. Sheringham. Given away though by Gary Charles. As the Forest passing machine for once breaks down. Shearer now.
Listen, I think what's happening at the moment is Southampton midfield players are trying to hustle Forest out of their stride. Every time a red shirt gets the ball, straight away a Southampton player, the first player flies at him and tries to put him under pressure.
Well, it's certainly a feature of their game to close teams down, but on the wide open spaces of Wembley, you'd think it would be much harder for them than it normally is.
Yes, but most of the game is actually being played, isn't it, from the halfway line towards Forest's goal. I mean, they're condensing the game very much, are Southampton.
And Forest, for the moment, are being pegged back here. There's Walker. Now Roddick for Southampton. Letitia. Well, it was neat skill initially, and then he gave it away. Kingsley Black. Here's Gemmell, the goal scorer, to Nigel Clough, who's certainly been a goal scorer in the past at Wembley. And he was caught then by that tenacious tackle by Terry Hurl. And that's going to earn him a rebuke, to say the least, from Keith Hackett. Possibly a booking, no, just a warning this time.
I think he probably took into account here that to a certain extent Nigel Clough teased him a little bit. Yeah, it was overzealous. Possibly on another day would have got a booking, but I think Nigel Clough invited it a little bit.
Well, Nigel, son of the manager, seems to be okay. Another vital cog in the Forest machine.
Well, he is today, particularly with Pearce going off, isn't he? There's a big onus now on him and Des Walker. You know, they're the recognised experienced players in the side.
Gary Charles, bursting through, didn't have the shot to match though. Gary Charles, who'd been a doubt earlier in the week because of injury, but he came through a late test, and also keeping Brian Laws out of the Forest side at the moment. But Ian Bradford will be fairly pleased, I would think, with the way his team have battled back here after the setback of conceding the early goal. Certainly their fans are in good voice. Big following here for both teams. Chettle. Gemmell with Clough. That's a lovely layoff in from Clough. Now Keane. This is where Forest are at their most dangerous. Keane going on. And away comes Roddick. Now is the counter-attack on for Southampton here. Dowie. Letitia. Now for Hurlock. Dowie trying to win it in the air. Little tussle with Wassell. Keith Hackett nearby just says, get on with it, lads. Ian Bradford, whose team were certainly the underdogs beforehand for this final. And apart from being a goal down, they've otherwise given a good account of themselves so far. They're very much in this final. But can they find a way to break down this Forest rearguard built around Des Walker? Wassell challenged by Dowie. There's Kevin Moore. I doubt if he thought he'd be playing in this final a few weeks ago either. He was on loan to Bristol Rovers. It seemed that his Southampton career was certainly nearing its end, but he's come back and he's done very well. And they've needed him to, Southampton, with Steve Wood being out through injury. He's only just come back today, really, on the bench. And also Richard Hall on the injured list. There's Kevin Moore.
Yes, when you start to look around the Southampton side, particularly in the midfield area, you see some players in the veteran stage, don't you? Hurlock, Cockrell, Horn just approaching it, and you just wonder, because they are playing very much a high-tempo game in midfield, the Saints midfield players, whether at, on the big open spaces of Wembley, particularly if Forest just keep control and pass the ball around, whether in fact later in the game that might have an effect on them.
Steve Chattel. Now then for Clough. Good anticipation though by Kevin Moore. The old hand at the back for Southampton. But now Clough feeding Crosby. He's got Keaton through the middle. Still Crosby, who's full of tricks, but nothing doing this time. Now the whistle has gone. The linesman has spotted something, and I think it was Crosby, the offender.
It is noticeable though, isn't it? Every time Forest put together a little pattern of play, a few passes together, how often Keane seems to be sprinting over the backside of Southampton defence. As of yet, I think they've only spotted him in once, but that's always a threat.
Benali. Walker with the header away. Now Charles thumping it forward. For Sheringham to chase. But Kevin Moore was there. Now Charles. Showed too much of that though to Cockerell. And that'll be a throw to Forest, which Crosby takes quickly. Too quickly though for Teddy Sheringham. And the ball is back with Tim Flowers. Now Larry Lloyd watching in the studio there. What about the way that Forest are coping now without Stuart Pearce, Larry?
Well, obviously a big blow, Peter, to lose Stuart Pearce, but in Steve Chettle they've got a natural replacement. He is a central defender, but he's got one hell of a good left foot. But I'm surprised actually that Pearce was limping for a good 10 minutes. Why didn't they stick Letitia across on Pearce to give him a real test?
Well, they've moved him across now, but Steve Chettle is the man he's facing. And yeah, he seems to be coping okay so far. Can't remember Larry Lloyd switching to left back too often, Ron, can you?
I can remember him giving a few people a test though.
This is Gary Charles. Now then for Wassell, who had an anxious week, wondering whether he was going to be in the starting lineup or not. But of course, Carl Tyler waiting in the wings. Tyler, the big money signing, but not in the 13 today. Wassell hanging on to his place. And that's the reward for some outstanding displays of late down Wassell for Nottingham Forest. Done very well alongside Des Walker. So often in the past his understudy, but now lining up alongside him. There's Walker finding Kingsley Black, who hasn't made a big impression so far in this game. They've kept him fairly quiet. Letitia finding Horn in towards Shearer, who's so quick off the mark. And Wassell keeping a very careful eye on him.
Yes, nice football. Two nice passes there. Letitia and Horn, nice little balls down the side. I think Shearer was actually starting to pull away to the far post before realising it, that the pass was coming his way.
Now Hurlock to Letitia. Always a buzz when Letitia has the ball. And towards Dowie. Difficult ball for Wassell to deal with. and he coped pretty well. Cockerell's tackle on Gary Charles. Keith Hackett waving Southampton on. Horn now towards Letitia. It's Shearer. No let up in the pace. Roy Keane. Wanting support, he's found it now with Sheringham. It's an excellent pass too. To Gemmell. Sheringham again, he's got Black outside it. Got 4 up in this attack now. Kingsley Black. Gemmell didn't make it because Benali was there. Now Chettle. This is Clough. Horton for Southampton. Letitia, and it was just too long then for Shearer.
He does try that one, doesn't he, Letitia? He can hit the ball a fair distance very accurately, and Letitia just pulling off the back of Des Walker, then almost a very, very good ball. But the move a little bit earlier, Forrest, was poetry, wasn't it? That, for me, is the best move of the game, actually, Peter. Some lovely one-touch passing, link-up play, midfield players running past the ball.
Well, it was typical Forest, and they are such a delight to watch when they're in that kind of mood. And rest assured, as long as Brian Clough is in charge, they won't change the way they play. Ruddock. Oh, the early ball. Almost to see Forrest sent Gemmell, let it run through. Keane. Now Gemmell to Sheringham. Well, the warning signs were up for Southampton then, but Horn has cooled it all. At least I thought he had. Off goes Crosby now. Sheringham's up with him, but also Black here. And that was an important tackle by Kenner. Keaton. Good running by Gemmell. He's got Clough now in support. Now then for Crosby. Sheringham with a chance to cross it in perhaps. Or Charles can. Flags up, offside. Wouldn't have counted. Keane was caught. And probably Kingsley Black as well.
Yes, that's something Southampton do without thinking virtually. As soon as the ball is in a wide position, the opposition has the ball in a wide position and turn it back, they step up very, very quickly to the 18-yard line.
I tell you what, Ron, it's a good final, isn't it?
It is a good final. Yes, it is. I would say that. I mean, and we've done the last 3 or 4 of these, Peter, and this ranks with any of them. Because it's got a great competitive edge.
A lot of goals too in previous games, 28 in the 6 previous finals of this competition. So let's hope we get some more today too. Herlock and Marriott on his mettle as Letitia came in to challenge.
I mean, we were talking about when Chris Woods played in that game in '78, wasn't it, against Liverpool? He had an awful lot of balls like this. You know, they're good for him. They, you know, he can get involved in the game, and you know, goalkeepers will get bedded down like that.
He's looked very competent so far. As Andy Marriott in goal for Nottingham Forest, a 21-year-old who's only just come into the side. Now another test here for Southampton, perhaps. Forest have the free kick. Wassell is making his way forward. Chettle and Gemmell organising the set piece. Gary Charles. Oh, delicately on for Sheringham, and now then for Clough. This is the second. Agonisingly close. Another great build-up then by Forest. And Clough so nearly finished it off.
Yes, I mean, this is a lovely flighty ball from Charles. But there we see the value. Nice little header down. Knew what he was doing there, Sheringham. And Clough, I mean, we're sitting right behind that shot, and you'd have bet money was flying straight in, just off the inside of the post.
Yes, I'll be disappointed there, Nigel Clough. Although it was an intricate, excellent build-up. He knows he should have chucked that one away.
Yes, I think every time Forest attack, there's always a threat about them. You always sense something's going to happen. You know, they've got good ideas.
Letitia. Caught by Clough, but a fair challenge. Keith Hackett only a few yards away, so he had a perfect view of that one. Sheringham now. He's having a very good game so far, Teddy Sheringham. Charles has given it away to Horn. Shearer. Now Letitia, benefiting from Cockerell's tackle. And, well, Dowie needed a better service than that. Letitia turning away in disgust. With himself, of course. Now, Kingsley Black. Here's Sheringham. Plenty of free-flowing, enterprising football from both sides. Here's Kegel now. Well, he just spotted the opening then.
To be fair to that lad, I think he's been the outstanding player on the field. I mean, he deserved the goal, brilliantly taken goal, but his industry and involvement has been top draw.
He played for the Scottish under-21s in the week. Came on as a sub, in fact, in the match against Germany, and they were 3-1 down, and he helped turn things around. They eventually won 4-3. So he certainly was an influence on that game, and he has been again today. The only goal so far. And in the heart of some of Forest's best moves. There's Keane with a header over. Another man who's made dramatic strides in the past couple of seasons, Roy Keane. Yes, of course, got the winner against Tottenham in the Rumbelow semi-final.
That's right. I mean, he has got tremendous ability in the air. I mean, we think of him as a running, thrusting player from midfield, but he does seem to be their outstanding strike header as well.
Yes, those two vital goals against Tranmere in one of the earlier rounds. Forest clinching their place in this final by beating Leicester in the area final. Southampton came through against Chelsea. Barry Horn now. Shearer. Now Kenner in towards Dowie, who's useful in the air. But the attentions of Des Walker were enough to put him off then, I think.
Yes, I still think he had long enough time in the air to adjust on that. I would have fancied Dowie to have kept that one in the penalty box.
He's taken his time to win over the Southampton fans, but he certainly has in recent weeks with the goals that he's scored. Now, there's that long throw we were talking about earlier from Ruddock, and it was a very long one. Moore, I think it was, who got the header on, and Shearer almost applied the finishing touch. Well, maybe it wasn't Moore who made the header, because Keith Hackett has given the goal kick. Look again here, Ron.
Yes, I know Shearer was protesting badly. You know, he badly wanted a corner for it, but it didn't seem to come off a Forest player.
Yeah, no, it was off Moore indeed, so quite rightly, it was a goal kick.
And you know, at the moment, that's possibly the closest they've come to scoring, isn't it? I mean, that's for all the territorial play when they were banging it in the penalty box and things. They didn't really, nothing really has fallen for them yet. There was one from a corner which may have been harshly penalised, but there hasn't really been a long shot. There was a long shot from Letitia, but nothing much. Whereas when Forest attack, you always get the threat, you always get the feeling something's going to happen.
Crosby. Brett Cockerell clambering all over him. He's such a competitive player, Cockerell. And the free kick has been given against him. Taken quickly by Clough, I think too quickly. Keith Hackett will want that taken again. Gemmell. Awesome space here. Now Kingsley Black exploit it. He most emphatically can. Southampton were torn apart then. No emotion on the face of the manager, but there's plenty of smiles and plenty of cheering now among the Forest supporters. Kingsley Black for the second goal has put Forest now comfortably in control.
Oh, that was a well-worked goal. They passed the ball around, and then a beautiful through ball. There's Black. What does tend to happen with the Southampton defenders when the ball's passed around? I'd like to see that from behind the goal, because it does look to have gone fairly central into the net. There's that ball, lovely ball through from Gemmell. Takes it up, looks, scuds it. I don't know how close it went to the goalkeeper, that one. But that is something when they pass the ball around. Forest, they do tend to pull the Southampton defence all over the play. And they've deservedly gone in 2-0.
Well, they were certainly found wanting then, Southampton. The half-time whistle has gone, and Nottingham Forest have a 2-goal lead thanks to that second goal there from Kingsley Black. And it's put a different tone really on the final now. Southampton seem to be clawing their way back. Maybe not too many chances, but they'd had so much possession, they couldn't turn that into goals. And again there we saw the finishing power of this Nottingham Forest side. Kingsley Black with his 6th goal of the season, and it could be a pretty important one right on the stroke of half-time. So Brian Clough going into the dressing room now, and I would think he'll be a very satisfied man with the way things are looking at the moment. That's the half-time score here at Wembley. It's Nottingham Forest now leading Southampton by 2-0. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back. 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. That Carlsberg man of the match telephone number 0898 500 125. 0898 500 125. You've heard what Ron Atkinson thinks. Scott Gemmell so far certainly was a lovely opening strike, wasn't it, Peter?
It certainly was. They played some super football, haven't they, Forest? And as Ron says, they look like scoring every time they go forward. And it's lovely to watch, to be honest. Unless you're a Southampton fan. Yes, here it is. It's a long throw here. And young Keane proves he's got a spring in his boots as well. Flicks it on, smashing. And what a finish. Absolute perfect volley for a young kid to watch. Lovely strike, didn't try to overhit it. Lovely balance, and just struck it right there. And he couldn't have placed it any better.
You dream about those, don't
Absolutely.
you? Catching them like that.
I bet his dad dreamt about scoring because he never scored one like that. Look at it. Tremendous goal.
Nobody at fault for that one, was there?
No, you can't mark against that. That is, sheer class. The sort of things you do in training probably 4 or 5 times a week, but once a season, and that's when it goes in.
Very good.
If he was forward, not as
You
Larry.
could do that 4 or 5
Larry
times
might
a
not
week.
have done, that's right.
Larry did it once in his career.
Larry used to volley players like that.
2-0 right on the stroke of half-time, Larry.
Yeah, again, the second goal was a typical Forest goal. It was a neat little build-up. Ended up with young Gemmell sees Black in open space, and the kid takes it well. What I couldn't understand there, where were the Southampton central defenders? What was happening?
Well, they've got moved about a bit, haven't they, when Forest have started playing their football, or that football we know about.
Well, and I think probably that's the general thing, Richard, that although Nigel Clough perhaps has not had a great first half, they still don't know what to do with him, the 2 central defenders. He's dropping deep, allowing Gemmell and Keane to go into that space. And the Southampton central defenders really don't know how to handle that.
You mentioned young Clough, who we haven't actually seen that much of, but not too far wide, with an attempt, I think, set up for him by Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah, it was. He's had a quiet game, really quiet game, and I think the ball comes across to Teddy Sheringham, and there's a lovely little deft header into Nigel, and he chests it down, or takes on his knee. You see the cross here from Evan Charles, I think it is. Just knocks into Sheringham, outside of his foot, lovely touch. Nigel's already in his bike, nobody picking him up. There's a little one touch, and he just flips it wide. Great chance, and unlucky.
And here it is from behind.
Yeah, smashing header down for him. Gives him the time to stop the ball, look, and have a shot. Look at that, just inches wide. Tremendous football again from the Forest, that's lovely.
Really, he would have been bitterly disappointed with that, Nigel. That's great position for him to get in, and normally he would have tucked that way, 9 times out of 10. That's the other one that he couldn't tuck away.
The early blow for Forest, of course, was losing the skipper, Stuart Pearce. It was a clattering challenge. We held our breath waiting, and he was left on the floor.
Well, I said that Cockrell would go across there to block his runs, and he certainly didn't disappoint him, did he? Look at this. I mean, it was a fair tackle, in all fairness, but you see his leg was just stretching a little bit, and he's gone down awkwardly, I think, and it's obviously done ligaments.
We think it's his knee, Larry.
Yeah, it looked that way. Liam O'Kim has given him some spray treatment on there, but as Ron said, there would be a few wingers enjoying that tackle. But in fairness, it was a fair tackle. I felt he should have come off earlier than he did, and perhaps, maybe he thought he could run it off, as players tend to do, but I thought Southampton might have stuck the tizzy across there.
Yes.
because he was limping for a good 10 minutes,
Yes,
you know.
he was, that's right, yeah.
And I felt that, you know, Letizia with his twists and his turns and his flicks here and there just might have given Stuart Pearce a real test.
They've done well, Southampton, haven't they? They haven't had the reward that they should have done, perhaps. An effort from Letizia our end. Lovely, lazy volley.
Yeah, well, that's him to a T, isn't it? This is his style of play. And here again, he just thinks it's a practice match. Takes it on the volley straight away. Great effort, but, you know, it's long range. That's all they've had, Richard. They haven't really created anything near goal.
They haven't really tested the young keeper, have they, Larry?
On the one or two occasions that young Marriott has had to be called into action, he's rushed off his line with a great lot of confidence. But nobody, as you say, Richard, nobody's gone up to him from these set pieces, corners, and give the little boy a knock and see how he can handle it, you know, as perhaps Peter might have done in the olden days. But, you know, the young lad is doing very well.
He has done super. I mean, I agree what he's saying, though. Even from corners, they've had corners and long throws. They've not stuck anybody in front of him at all. They've given him a clear look at the ball, and as I say, no challenges at all, and I think that's the first thing they should have done.
As yet, 2-0 half-time to Nottingham Forest. The next live football here on Sky Sports comes from Scotland, the Scottish Cup semi-final between Celtic and Rangers. That's live Tuesday night at 7:30 from Hampden Park. We'll be back here at Wembley after these. Stay with us. Welcome back to Wembley. 2-0 to Forest in the Zenith Data Systems Cup final. It's been a smashing match so far. You've put some money on there being more goals as well. Just part of our live sport on Sky Sports today. 6 o'clock Rugby League. We've got Salford against Warrington, and at 8 NASCAR. The place to be. Sky Sports. It's great to have your company. There's the man of the match so far. Let's go outside and rejoin our commentary team, Ron Atkinson and Peter Brackley.
Thank you, Richard. So, Forest underlining again their pedigree as the knockout specialists. As they start the second half, now then attacking the goal to our right. And that second goal was really a killer blow for Southampton, right on the stroke of half-time. Ruddock there turning up at the back for Southampton. But I'm sure Ian Branfoot, their manager, has been winding them up again at half-time in the dressing room. That's when the managers do their stuff, of course. And it'll be a measure now of how Southampton's character stands as to how they respond. Ian Branfoot, who's had 2 successes here in the past. He was coach of Crystal Palace when they won it last year, and also manager of Reading when they stung Luton a few seasons back. I wonder, is it going to be third time unlucky for him? Way by Wassell. Cockerell trying to sweep it on towards Dowie. Clough, another intelligent layoff by him. Off goes Keane, bursting through the middle. Again, they've got 4 up so quickly here, Forest. This is Crosby now. He's got Charles with him. Now then for Gemmell. Sheringham's, initially anyway, pulled away to the far post. Now he's tucked it through for Gemmell again. And Flowers just made it, and only just. Great build-up again, Ron.
Yes, I've been wondering when that situation was going to happen, when the Southampton defence pushed to the 18-yard line and leave space behind for nice 1-2s. Now, the Forest are the best in the country at this, feeding it in, and then he just follows his run. Nice ball in from Sheringham, and he just doesn't fall into Gemmell's stride. But before the game, I had a preconceived notion you might see quite a few of those.
Sheringham. Again showing his value to Forest today. £2 million he cost, but he's been well worth it. The TCA now. He was surrounded though by red shirts, and Kingsley Black plays it out then for Forest to Nigel Clough. The news of Stuart Pearce, incidentally, confirmation he has a damaged knee. And let's hope that it isn't too serious. Also, we'll be thinking about the Rumbelows Cup, as I'm sure Brian Clough will be after the game. They'll be thinking about whether Pearce is going to be fit in time for that, as I'm sure Manchester United will be. Crosby, Charles. Now then for Keane, got away then from Hurlock. Misunderstanding that time though. Cockerell got up well. Now then for Kevin Moore. Just about kept his footing then. Off goes Kenner. It's Clough for Forest. Now, does he have the pace here to get away? Well, Hawke caught him. It was definitely a trip then by the Welsh international on Nigel Clough. He's not the quickest player, as I'm sure he'd be the first to admit in the First Division, but of course he has such vision, Clough, and he saw the opportunity then. And Horn had to resort to illegal tactics to bring him down. Clough now, tremendous turn in towards Sheringham, and Ruddock just managed to get it away.
We've just seen two instances there. You're right, Nigel Clough isn't the quickest player in the division, but I think nobody in the game thinks quicker than him. Twice when he burst through and was hauled down, and then when he just let the ball run past his body and nearly presented himself with a great opportunity.
That was a tremendous pass as well then from Clough. He's really going through his repertoire today now. Charles. Forest looking to turn on the style in the second half. They have the cushion of the 2-goal lead. And it really is a marvellous opportunity, Ron, for them to do exactly that, really turn on the style.
Oh, very much so. I mean, as you say there, it looks as if the score could go to anything. From Southampton's point of view, I'd like to see a little bit more coming forward from the fullbacks. The fullbacks have been inclined to just pass it forward and stay at home. And consequently, the front players, Dowie and Shearer, haven't had an awful lot of support.
Now Sheringham's through. Is this another one? Well, I think he rather snatched at that, Teddy Sheringham. Again, Southampton struggling at the back.
Yeah, well, you see, Kevin Moore, in all fairness, Kevin Moore and Neil Ruddock have been, as you say, responsible for keeping them, or giving them some improved results recently. But as a pair, they don't look right, particularly at Wembley. Both left-sided and neither quick.
Prolific goal scorer in the past couple of seasons, Teddy Sheringham. Continuing at Forest where he left off at Millwall. And he will be somewhat disenchanted that he didn't add to his tally of 20 goals.
Yes, I bet he can't believe he's outrun anybody from about 40 yards out there.
It was a clear opening then for Teddy Sheringham. Foul on Crosby.
You see, I can't recall in the course of the game, apart from set plays, one Southampton cross from beyond the penalty area. Even Letitia hasn't produced a ball from that area.
Well, let's hope they keep their heads up, keep it going, and they can still make a game of this. The Forest are calling the tune at the moment, and they're producing some exquisite football.
The end of phrase, they're bang at it, aren't they? They had the little quiet period early on. Scored perhaps against the run of the play and have steadily grown and grown and grown until they're virtually bossing the game now.
Shearer. Cockerell. Now, what can Southampton build here? Hurlock. Now then for Kenner. Rather hurried pass, though. Hurlock has a lot to do. And Chappell was there. And he won't give up, that's for sure. Terry Hurlock. A rather underrated player too, I think, Terry Hurlock. No doubt about his aggression, but he has other qualities too. Now, here's a chance for Ruddock to hurl one in towards Dowie. And some pushing, so a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Southampton fans, understandably, rather subdued at the moment. There's been great excitement down on the south coast in readiness for this game. A long time since they were last at Wembley, of course, way back to '79. And they're the two substitutes, Steve Wood and David Lee. So I wonder if they're going to play a part in the second half. Whistle's gone, there's another scrap going on. It was Hurlock involved again with Kingsley Black. And I think the yellow card is going to be produced for the first time today. And it's Terry Hurlock who's been cautioned. Here we can see it again. Well, it was, to say the least, a wholehearted challenge from Hurlock.
Yes, I think Keith Hack was prepared to let him get away with kicking him, but manhandling him, no.
Cockerell. Oh, that's a foul, surely. No. Play on. Walker. Ruddock. Now then for Kevin Moore. Dowie, neat flick off. Hurlock. Just too long, no. The idea was there, but he rather overhit the pass. Hurlock in search of Ian Dowie.
Yeah, you were saying earlier about Terry Hurlock, about his ability. You saw an example there of it. I think on the majority of surfaces at this time of the season, that ball would have just held in the corner for him. But maybe with the rain we've had, it's just skidded on, hasn't it? You're right what you say. He is a far better player than he's given credit for.
And confirmation there that Ian Dowie has indeed played at Wembley before, albeit in the Middlesex Cup. I think he scored too for Hendon. Well, there's a rousing atmosphere now around Wembley. The crowd really enjoying this final. The Southampton fans a little glummer than Forest, it's true. But all the same, it's been a very entertaining game, and it's such a good day out. The decision given to Forest. Southampton really need a goal now to lift their spirits, to rekindle the fire, which they showed without question early on in the game. And as Rob was saying, if anything, was slightly against the run of play when Forest scored that first goal. Flags up, Shearer just straight offside. There can't have been too much in it. He doesn't look too pleased with the decision, but Linesman, in fairness, was right in line and had no hesitation in raising that flag.
The other thing, of course, Peter, is obviously the second goal was came at a really terrible time for them, didn't they? They were just threatening to maybe put pressure on and get back to one each. All of a sudden, they found themselves going in at half-time, 2 down.
Now, Kingsley Black. It's a useful cross for Sheringham. What a save that by Tim Flowers. How on earth did he keep that one out? Oh, Sheringham must have thought he'd scored there. Fantastic save by Tim Flowers.
It was indeed, and as you say, a brilliant header. All credit to Teddy Sheringham. He set the ball in motion for Kingsley Black to fly it back across. In all fairness, he's 20 goals this season. When he was at Millwall, he used to get plenty of goals like this in the air. I mean, I would have said that was one of his main strengths. Now, at Forest, they play a slightly different way. So he's had to adapt his style, and he's still got 20 goals. Now, sticking the ball in the air for him, you can safely say, there's an example, he would have had another half dozen at least.
Well, that surely would have been curtains then for Southampton, but for Tim Flowers. So long the understudy to Peter Shilton at Southampton, so he learned his trade under the vest. And he's had a really good season, as I was saying earlier on, as he emphasised that. Now here's Kingsley Black. No way through this time. And Forest win it back again. There's a real competitive edge to this game. Roy Keane was onside. Sheringham and company waiting on the cross. What an astute pass there was found. Black, is this another one?
It really is embarrassing when Forest start putting the passes together around the edge of the penalty box. Defenders just seem to evaporate. There seems holes for everybody to run into. And all credit to the Forest players. They're playing well. The movement is good. The passing is clinical. But there's not a great deal of appreciation from the Southampton defence at the moment. They just seem to be following the ball and just ball watching.
And Tim Flowers is keeping them in the game. Shearer now. Still a long way back from here for Southampton. Shearer gets the decision. Well, there we are, shots on target. Just 2 so far from Southampton for all their possession in the first half. Roddick's come forward. And Shearer was in there too. Now Cockerell and Moore. And did it come off Walker? Well, it's still in play, whatever. No, it's not. The TCA, and Southampton needs some magic from the TCA in the second half, as Ian Branford will be thinking, I'm sure. really not going Southampton's way at the moment. Roddick clears. Sheffield does the same for Forest. Russell was underneath that one. And towards Shearer, but Walker comfortably able to clear. Now this is Kenner. On for Letitia. That's a good tackle. Nothing wrong with that at all from Russell. Perfectly timed. But it's a corner to Southampton. Marriott having to fist it away. Hawk back in again. Then on from Shearer. And young Marriott equal to the occasion once again. Well, he came for it confidently enough.
Yes, he claimed that well. The one before where he was put under a bit of pressure, he didn't look over-comfortable, but that one he certainly did.
Now here's Crosby breaking for Forest. 3-4 players sweeping forward now. This is Sheringham. Good tackle though by Kenner. Now Gemmell. Sheringham once more. Good skill. Kevin Moore struggling again. Sheringham. Black. Oh, Crosby couldn't finish. Keane. What a waste.
It was, but you can see players now. You see good young players expressing themselves. They're enjoying this now. Big arena, good surface. Getting plenty of the ball and they're all on the game. I mean, that one there, there's 4 or 5 of them could have pulled the trigger.
And Southampton being attacked from all angles here. Kingsley Black with a neat flick. Crosby couldn't get in there. And Roy Keane might be...
You'd have fancied that, lad, wouldn't you? You'd have fancied Roy Keane to have been on target.
Well, he's normally so consistent and his finishing is so tidy. Half an hour to go. Nottingham Forest still in charge. So let's check on Peter Osgood's thoughts now. Peter, how can Southampton get back into this game?
I think the only way, Peter, is to bring the 2 subs on and not take anybody else off. But seriously, they really are under pressure. I mean, they can't get anybody. As Ron says, all the crosses are coming in from the halfway line, and basically I'd like to see Letitia go wide and let them play a 4-2-4 system, get players wide, and hopefully they get crosses in the right areas. And they're certainly not getting there at the moment. They're certainly getting a football lesson at the moment. And unfortunately, as a Southampton supporter, it's painful to see, but it's lovely football.
Put your boots on, Ozzy, and get out there. Now Clough to Crosby. Again, Southampton split wide open. Flowers to the rescue. What an afternoon he's having.
Yeah, the incredible thing about it is they seem to have plenty of defenders back, Southampton, every time that Forest break. And then all of a sudden, one slight movement, as Clough, he measures that one in beautifully. The left-back's well over-covered there.
It's the vision and the sheer pace of Forest that's really been the undoing of Southampton. And they've got no answer to it at the moment. Well, he'll be pretty happy, Brian Clough. Probably won't tell you so, but he'll be enjoying this now. In his 57th year. And the old maestro still produces teams with such quality. Letitia coming across to take the corner. It'll be the signal for Kevin Moore to come up, and Roddick too. They've got Dowie in there, and Shearer. But can they make their aerial threat count? Well, not like that, they won't.
Well, I mean, that's how it goes when things aren't happening for you. I mean, he is as good a dead ball kicker as there is in football, Matt Letitia.
And he really hasn't made his mark on this final in the way that Southampton were hoping. Now Ruddock. And his throws are like corners. Dowie couldn't get there. Hurlock now. Ruddock, it's a good cross too, and a goal! Letitia. Now we've got a match on. Lovely whip ball over by Neil Ruddock.
Well, that's a brilliant ball. That's as good as a winger's cross. And there is a weakness that we said about the Forest. At the heart of the defence, they're not total in the air.
I tell you what, that was a terrific cross in from Ruddock.
Oh, brilliant cross. And we had a first-class view. They shaped it in lovely.
64 minutes. That's the time of the goal. And Southampton are back in there fighting. They don't need Peter Osgood after all. And it's got their fans singing now. We were just talking there about Letitia and his contribution. That's exactly what Southampton wanted. Everything is fizzing for Southampton now.
I mean, I think what odds would you have backed Ruddock crossing for Letitia to head home? I think you might have thought the other way around once or twice.
Well, it was a clinical finish by Letitia. 15 goals, and of course 7 now in the Zenith Cup. Scored in every round. Charles. And suddenly Nottingham Forest can afford to relax no longer. Let's put a new light on the game now. With 25 minutes left. Charles with the free kick. To the drawing board with that one. Here's the goal again, Ron.
Yes, that's a brilliant cross. There you see, maybe a bigger centre-half would have dealt with the cross, but all credit, great cross. And Letitia going in the danger zone for possibly the first time today.
Well, Forest have certainly had the opportunities to have finished Southampton off. Denied in no small way by the goalkeeping of Tim Flowers, it's true, but I wonder, might they be made to rue those misses? Brentford hope so. Ruddock again to hold one in. He's got Dowie on the edge of the 6-yard box. There was Dowie. No, the whistle's gone. Keith Hackett again indicating there was some pushing.
I think what else happened as well, Peter, this little bit of pressure that was brought up on, probably by a corner they had just before the goal. All of a sudden I'm watching the young goalkeeper now. He seems to be getting a little bit edgy on his line. That long throw, for instance, he wasn't sure whether to come and climb over his defenders or just hold his ground.
Well, that's just the type of cross that makes life so difficult for defenders and for goalkeepers. It was always curling away, and Letitia met it so firmly. (2-1) to Forest in this Zenith Cup final. And what a rousing game it has been. Far from over yet.
Yes, the next 10 minutes or so are going to be very, very interesting, aren't they? How much momentum Southampton can get and how much composure Forest can regain. Whether they can just get back into their way of playing, passing the ball around, drawing the Southampton defence all over the show.
Sharing up to Crosby. It goes Charles. That was almost lost it. It squirmed away from him. Now he has. Crosby, though Keith Hackett has blown the whistle. Well, he's enjoying himself. Tim Flowers, and what a match he's having.
This will be interesting to see this one again. I don't know whether Forest may feel they were very wrongly penalised here. Price for a penalty, but no way. Oh, yes, he has taken it out of the kick. Referee's right. He's kicked it out of the keeper's grasp.
But only just, and it was another let-off for Southampton. But Tim Flowers is having one of those inspired afternoons that all goalkeepers hope for. Dowie. Walker came thundering across. Surely the quickest defender in the business. Now here's Ruddock once more. Everybody back defending for Nottingham Forest. Southampton haven't really left anybody back. Chettle, straight back to Ruddock, and that's a corner.
Don't think he fancied that one off his right side to knock it back in first time. But this is the pressure, this is the sort of situation now that Southampton have been longing for all game, building up a head of steam.
Again, they've got 3 or 4 players making their assault from around the edge of the area. They all arrive, then Moore! Kevin Moore! 2-2. Now he can smile, and they can celebrate in style. And what a contrast to the face there of the Nottingham Forest manager, Brian Clough. Kevin Moore, 33 years old, the man who must have thought his Southampton days were numbered. Returning to the club, and now he's equalised in the semi-final.
He must have run close on 35 yards to get at that one now. He started his run from well outside the penalty area. And it was noticeable that as he went, Forest players let him run by them. And I suppose the inevitable, there'll be how much will be attached to the young keeper on that? There'll be people will have to ask questions about that. Maybe young Marriott should have done something about it. But first-class header for Kevin Moore. Saw only the ball, attacked it, and all of a sudden, what a game.
20 minutes to go. Kevin Moore, what a moment to score his first goal of the season. Well, this is some game, isn't it? What a great advertisement too for British football. Rip-roaring stuff this is. Now Shearer. Wassell got it away on then from Crosby.
I think what it also proves is that Forest can't be doing with conceding too many corners or too many throw-in situations from around their own penalty box now.
It was an interesting ploy, wasn't it, the tactic from the corner. There were 3 or 4 players converging, really.
Well, they just steamed in. You just see more steaming in now. To be fair, his leverage there, the height he's got there is tremendous. But the goalkeeper is very, very close to him, and has got the advantage of using his arm as well.
It was a fair old header then.
Yeah.
From Kevin Moore. Now Letitia. Southampton in full flow, at least Letitia was, until he was sent clattering to the ground. But they've got Forest worried now, no question. And again, Forest have had to pull everybody back to defend this free kick. Benali takes it. Charles away. Here's Clough. Always this threat, this danger of the counter-attack by Forest. And they're sweeping forward now. Southampton desperately trying to get defenders back. Have they got enough back? Keane now. Brought down by Hurlock, who's already been cautioned, so he's got to watch himself.
This actually is a little bit unnecessary, that from Terry Hurlock. Probably the passions of the game, because it looked very much as if his mate was going to pick the next defender here. Kenner was going to get the ball anyway.
Now Sheringham is there, and Clough. Of course, no Stuart Pearce to thunder in those awesome free kicks, which have become so vital for Nottingham Forest. Maybe Chettle's going to hit one. He does. Flowers got down well. And Southampton will be mighty relieved that Stuart Pearce is no longer on the field. Lethal, of course, from that range. Dowie on towards Shearer, trying to shake off Des Walker. in by Kenan Shearer! Clawed out of the air, though, by Andy Marriott. That was a fine save.
I think in this spell, Peter, I mean, you can't always tell what other managers would do. I think in this spell, I think I'd switch Chettle to centre-back, put Wassell at left full-back. Wassell's played there quite often, but they're definitely now, they're getting well muscled out in the air.
It was a classic header by Shearer. Stuart Pearce, who now can only look on. He's such an inspiration to the Forest players. Indeed, Brian Clough says he's an inspiration to me. He's my man out there. Well, they were doing OK without him earlier on, but now Southampton have come battling back.
I mean, at the stage that they got to 2-1, I was just thinking there, this might be Forest's best ever Wembley performance. They're playing so well.
Well, suddenly it's all turned around. Shearer. Forest 2, Southampton 2. Dowie's offside. He's offside. I bet he enjoyed it anyway. Ian Bradford, twice a winner here before then. Maybe it's not going to be third time unlucky after all. Another high-scoring final, it seems to be. 4-3, of course, when Forest beat Everton here back in '89. 4-1 last year when Palace beat Everton. And don't forget that if they can't settle this after 90 minutes, there will be extra time and, if necessary, penalties as well. So, stay in your seats. I hope you're enjoying this at home as much as we are here. Benali. 15 minutes to go. Charles. Keane. Slipped at the vital moment. Dowie on for Hurlock. Kenner. On for Shearer. Marriott's got to get there. And he didn't do so too decisively. Now Hurlock. Oh dear. Well, he scored against Chelsea, I remember, in the area final.
And the first-class Southampton let it play to the whistle. When the challenge was put on young Marriott, the Forest defenders automatically stopped and thought it was a free kick. The ball was a tantalising close. I would bet it was within 2 yards of their goal line, and the referee's waving play on.
He was under a lot of pressure there. Look here.
Yes, a lot of this seems to have stemmed from the cross he missed just before the first goal. From then on, he's got increasingly edgier. And what happens, of course, people like Shearer, people like Cockrell will notice that. Dowie as well, they'll notice, they'll think, oh, the keeper's starting to wobble a little bit. And it gives them a little bit of extra encouragement to go in.
So some attention for Andy Marriott before he can continue. Slip of the old smelling salts too, so he's clearly a bit dazed. And I think his confidence has taken a bit of a knock too in the last 15 minutes or so. A bit quiet now at the Forest end, but my word, there's a lot of noise cascading down now from the Southampton terracing. The crowd, nearly 70,000 in the stadium, this all-seater crowd totally immersed in this final. Ian Bradford, who's seen his team respond so well in the second half. Ruddock's throw. Dowie was there! Off the line by Charles. Southampton corner. It could have been far more serious for Nottingham Forest there, but for Gary Charles. Not sure if that was going in or not, but he was in the right place. Letitia. Barry Horn to tuck it back in again, and this time safely away for the goal kick.
It's amazing, and at the start of the game we thought Southampton were going to give Forest loads of problems with high balls, with free kicks, with corners, with long throws. Didn't, went 2-0 down. All of a sudden built up some momentum doing this, and now it's a continuous flow. Just seems to be one throw in after another, one corner after another. And certainly from a position of virtually looking unbeatable. Forest are now very, very much on the rack.
Well, that's the beauty of football. It's such an unpredictable game. And who would have thought that this one would have turned round in this fashion? Walker with Shearer. Now then for Gabble, who seemed to have set Forest on the way to a comfortable victory. Not so now. And the prospect of extra time now ever looming. Brian Clough, who's seen his team have mixed fortunes here, of course. That agony of losing the FA Cup final, but those two League Cup wins, the Simod Cup they won as well. A couple of League Cup successes back in the late 70s too, one of them against Southampton here. Letitia. Harassed by Kingsley Black, but a Southampton throw. And they are now dictating this final. Wassell. This is Kevin Moore. Now Cockerell didn't quite make it. Maybe Hort will. Dowie. Hurlock. Oh, spectacular save.
That is magnificent. I mean, Marrick's just gone through arguably the jitteriest spell of his career. And all of a sudden he pulls out a save like this. When this comes back to Hurlock, you'd have bet your life on this going in the net. Dowie can't quite twist round. Ricochets out, and there's Hurlock. And he can rifle those. And that's a magnificent reaction.
Well, he made a mess of his last chance, Terry Hurlock, but that one was a fantastic effort. And, oh, what a stop by Andy Marriott. 10 minutes to go in this pulsating final. Cockerell. Off goes Hurlock. Didn't find Letitia. That's Keane back there defending.
Now that's unnecessary. Young Roy Keane has done a trick. He's opened the game up for himself, could put a pass in and decides to be individualist. And now his team are under pressure again, in an area where they've been proven vulnerable.
Will they prove so again? Ruddock with a long throw. Chappell. Ruddock can try again. They've got more up. Score of an equalising goal. Dowie and Letitia now. No, Dowie's offside. He's offside. Hardly time to catch your breath here. And whatever he had to say at half-time, it has done the trick. Although in fairness to Southampton, they certainly weren't outplayed in the first half. It was really early on in the second when they seemed to be totally under the caution.
That's right. Now just wonder, remember that move where Forest absolutely ripped them apart, and about three of them left it to each other. They finished up with Keane just sloppily, if you like, blazing wide. From that moment on, they seem to have grown, don't they, Southampton?
Walker, the Southampton fans now goading those following Forest by saying you're not singing anymore. I think they're stunned. They all seem to be going Forest's way, but they reckon without the fighting qualities of this Southampton side. Shearer, good tackle though by Chappell. Now Black, and here's the break with Sheringham, but he's not got too much support. Crosby has gone into the penalty box now. Here's Sheringham, and also Black arriving. Still Black! Well, was there a leg left trailing then? Keith Hackett turned away and said no.
I think if he'd have gone down, I think he'd have got a penalty there.
Had to be.
I think he definitely got dislodged by the defender.
Wow. Letitia. No Walker's there. Black. Surely if he'd have fallen over there, that had to have been a penalty. Keith Hackett had a good long hard look and said no.
Hurlock's just upended Nigel Clough, and I can't help thinking, for me, Oh, this is the setup. Here we go. He attacks the heart of the box. And that's a penalty. To me, there's no doubt about that's a penalty.
Well, you can see Keith Hackett there. He was only a few yards away, Ron.
I think young Black made it a little bit more comfortable for him by not going down. But I think that's definitely a penalty.
Ruddock, whose tackle it was, I think, on Kingsley Black then. Russell won it well. Cockrell got it back again though. Now off goes Benali. Letizier's in a lot of room over on the far side if they'd found him. Played in towards Shearer instead. Now Nigel Clough.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the revival, you know, has been down to Terry Hurlock. I mean, I thought his legs would start to go towards at this stage in the game, but he's given himself fresh adrenaline. He's pumped, he's driven his side forward. He's got tackles in on their midfield. And generally, I think he's generally inspired them back into the game.
He's no youngster either. He's 33 now, Terry Hurlock.
Oh, and if it had stayed at 2-0, maybe he'd have got a little bit tired. His concentration might have started to flag, but to be fair, he's picked it up and driven the game forward for them.
Weary legs have been revived. Now Black for Forest. Here's Chettle. Appeal for offside. Wasn't given there. There was no flag from the linesman. Here's Sheringham. Black again. And Keane making the header, but not able to hit the target. Crosby. There's Keane. Hurlock's back there. Rather clumsy clearance though. Lucky to find Barry Horn in the end. 5 minutes to go. Will one of these two teams snatch it, or are we going to need extra time? Hurlock. A real inspiration Terry Hurlock has been today for Southampton, especially in this second half. Gemmell. Now King. Forest hoping to string their passing game together, but denied by Kenner, initially anyway, and now the whistle's gone. Free kick to Southampton.
Yes, there's no question that spell of pressure, of corners and throw-ins and that has got Southampton back into the game. Has left Forest shell-shocked. I mean, they're just slightly now, there looks to be signs that they're regaining a little bit of their composure.
Too long for Shearer, didn't reach Dowie. Clough getting himself into a bit of a tangle, and as the tackles came flying in, Keith Hackett awards the free kick to Nottingham Forest. Much improved in recent weeks in their league form, Forest. May even have a chance of qualifying for Europe through their league placing. Letizier. Ruddock well forward. Free kick to Forest. Taken by Walker. Here's Sheringham. Just around 3 minutes to go. So looking more and more now as if we are going to need extra time. What are your feelings now, Ron, if it does go to another half an hour?
I think a lot will depend whether, in fact, Forest can get their composure back. I mean, technically, in extra time, their game should be better suited if it goes to extra time, that is. But at the moment, they're still not quite back on the passing game, and he's getting brushed aside now, Nigel Clough. He's had to withstand 1 or 2 heavy challenges this half, but it looks whether he's had a knock that slowed him down.
Shearer's down injured at the moment. There's Benali, and that was a tired old cross then from Francis Benali.
I'm just saying with Nigel Clough, you know, Peter, whether he's had a culmination of knocks, it seems wherever the ball's gone to him in this spell, there's been a blue shirt or 2 blue shirts even flying at him. No, Hurlock's hit him once or twice. I think he's telling the referee about it there.
Yeah. But he's kept it going well, Keith Hackett. He's had to stop On some occasions, of course, no alternative really, but he's kept it flowing, Ron.
Oh, very much so. And I think, Freddie, I think it's been a super game. I think it's been a lot of drive, a lot of verve, a lot of excitement, and some very, very good quality.
And some goals too, which you've not been used to at Villa Park lately. So we got one yesterday.
Yeah, we're on a roll now.
90 seconds remaining now. The tension really mounting. Walker just managed to get a foot in. But it's Forest back on the defensive now in these last few seconds. Barry Horn. That was Checkle's header. And it will enable Neil Ruddock to test the Forest defenders once again. There'll be a few nervous defenders back there. Back in by Ruddock. Here's Shearer.
Oh, he should have done better there. Alan Shearer looked quids in there to just head the ball back into the centre of goal and let the rest of his colleagues put pressure on Marriott.
Keith Hackett has now looked at his watch. So any second now, we'll be heading for extra time. That's Ruddock. That was a casual back pass then by Letizia, who doesn't like to make things look easy, does he?
I don't think he'd regard that as casual.
Very much the norm, really. Dowie and Wassell together. Time for Chettle to clear. Maybe one last assault from Forest, but no. It's Kevin Moore for Southampton. Pumped up towards Shearer and Dowie. And he might just have sneaked in there. Another corner.
Dowie has constantly caused a threat. On any long ball, he seems as if he comes from the side of the defender, and invariably he's won most of them to keep the pressure on the Forest back four.
Letizia with the corner. Moore's making his run in now. In goes Moore. Ruddock and Dowie there too. And somehow Forest escape. But it's an awesome sight seeing those big fellas coming hurtling towards you. And Forest were wavering again. Into time added on. Chettle.
Yes, and what Forest do, Forest don't tend to mark players, they tend to just mark areas in the middle of the box, almost closing on their keeper. And in fact, it allows the likes of Ruddock and more free runs. You know, I think they'd be better employed to stick people against them and try and run with them and block their runs off a little bit.
Clough. Here's Keane. Now then for Charles. Keane again. On for Gemmell. Sheringham looking for a shooting chance. In came Benali. Keane wins it in the air, but there's the whistle. The 90 minutes are up. And what a comeback by Southampton to thwart Brian Clough's hopes of taking the trophy here in the second half. And it's not over yet by a long, long way. Another 30 minutes is necessary, maybe penalties too, who knows. Problem there for Neil Ruddock. Southampton will be hoping he's okay to carry on. Kevin Moore's equalising goal after Letizia got the first one for Southampton. It's 2-2. Join us again. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. So then, away we go with the first period of extra time. Southampton to kick off. Great excitement at Wembley. Keith Hackett waiting for the signal, and on we go. Letizia. What happens? What was that? But interestingly, Ron, we saw Brian Clough out there giving some advice to his players, and of course he was much criticised in the FA Cup final last season when he didn't do that.
Yes, I mean, I know Cloughie's a one-off, does things. I've got somewhere at the back of my mind, I can remember him with his great side. I mean, obviously Larry Lloyd would know more about that than myself, but I think when you've got a team of youngsters like he's got here, they look for him for something. Even if it's just to say, hey, lads, you're playing great, keep going.
Well, he was certainly out there offering as much advice as he possibly could during that short break between the end of 90 minutes and the start of extra time. So let's see if the old Cloughie magic works once again. I think his team were in need of a lift. Letitia, oh, that's not a bad strike at all. Again, almost lazily then, arriving at just wide.
Yeah, it's amazing how much distance he can get, not with his long passes as well. I mean, there's very little, appears to be very little effort in that. It's perhaps not as close as we thought from here, but he does it with long passes. He sometimes just appears to flick at the ball. He makes the ball travel 60 yards.
Well, Andy Marriott will remember this day for the rest of his life, no question. The young goalkeeper who's come under so much pressure in the second half, produced that stunning save from Terry Hurlock, but conceded 2 goals. Southampton back on level terms, and you really couldn't confidently predict which way this now might go.
No, certainly Forest are only a shadow of the side that was playing. For the first hour, they were brilliant.
Letitia, that's good skill. Still Letitia, trying to wriggle his way through. There were too many defenders there in the end. Keane comes away with it. Charles now. Clough to Black. Confronted by Kenner, whipping over the cross, and Sheringham steered it wide. Didn't really meet it cleanly, that Teddy Sheringham.
That was a good opportunity, that. Particularly for somebody like Sheringham, who is very, very good at those sort of situations. Black's done well, he's bent the ball in well, he's stretching for it. It's not an easy chance, but it certainly was a good chance.
Yes, he looked a bit off balance to me there, but he'll certainly put that one down as an opportunity squandered. Benali, off goes Shearer, but the electrifying pace of Walker was equal to him. Shearer. Now Benali. It's a dangerous ball in for Dowie to contest with Marriott, and the goalkeeper stood his ground well. I think the free kick of it anyway for some manhandling by Ian Dowie. Roddock with Sheringham. Here's Black. Gemmell. Black once more. Sheringham. Southampton players looking for offside. Nothing given. And Roddock getting himself out of trouble very well. And trying to send Shearer on his way. But overhitting the pass. Clough threading it on. Very nearly linking up to them with Roy Keane, who reports the intentions of Nigel Clough. Dowie.
Yes, there's a sign of Russell's frustration. He hasn't been able to get much in the air against Dowie, and I think you went for a ball that was never really his there. Dowie's been a bit of a thorn over the last sort of half an hour or so. He's won the majority of balls that have been tossed up there, and he's always given the Southampton players a chance to play on seconds, on knockdowns.
Roddock has stayed back, but Kevin Moore, scorer of that second Southampton goal, is hoping to make his presence felt in the air. Benali, it's gone the other way towards Shearer. A tackle, which Price were lucky to get away with. Benali to plant it once more into that 18-yard box, and safely in the arms of Marriott, who finds Sheringham. Now Crosby. Keane. And that's gone way up into row 97 from Kevin Moore. It'll be Crosby taking the throw. Southampton have left only Shearer upfield. Ruddock. Back it goes. Gamble. Wassell continuing his run. And tied it up at the back move for Southampton. Now let's get a word from Larry Lloyd and Peter Osgood. What are your thoughts now, chaps? Larry?
Well, it's obvious what the problem is. Forest haven't got anybody at the back that can handle these crosses. You know, Southampton are getting in there. They're putting pressure on the goalkeeper. How I feel they can get out of that is not defend so deep. It seems to me as though they're falling back and allowing Southampton to get players into the danger areas.
Now, Peter Osgood, what about Southampton's revival? And well, they're certainly continuing in that vein now, really, aren't they?
Yes, they certainly have. They've done very well. Hopefully they just haven't sort of worn themselves out in the 90 minutes, because they did work very, very hard to get back into it. And as you say, like Hurlock and Cottrell and Horn in midfield really won the game for them, because the three guys went missing. Gemmell, Keane and Cloughley. And they've certainly turned the game around for Southampton, to be honest.
And is Larry Lloyd still marking you pretty tightly down there, Peter?
Don't, Peter, don't worry.
Now, Letitia. Got Dowie at the far post, Shearer in the middle too. That was an important clearance by Wassell. Letitia. Cheeky touch from Letitia. On with the cross, Dowie. Now, Wycombe Forest sweeping forward. Crosby. And there's the irrepressible Terry Hurlock.
It seems strange, I mean, to take Larry's point up again there. I mean, that has been a Forest trait for years now, to defend very, very deep in their box. Particularly, you know, bearing in mind they haven't got the likes of Tyler playing in the middle of the defence. And sort of our recollection when it used to be Burnsy and Larry was Cloughley always used to like to try and get the centre-half to push up and squeeze and not let the opposite strikers turn on the ball. So we'll see if he's had a complete change about in tactics.
Gemmell. This is Black. Another dangerous cross in.
Oh, that was a brilliant ball.
Yeah, but that was had to head it away.
Two men marking him, didn't even go past him, just opened himself up enough and then drifted the thing in. That's possibly on one occasion when Keane hasn't been attacking the box for headers.
Chappell, his cross this time. Oh, that was Keane with a header. And Flowers with the save.
But that one came at him a little bit sharp, didn't it? You ever see Chappell? He's dug it out and there's an offside call, actually.
So yes, the flag was up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. Do you want a cough, speak, by the way? You're losing your voice there. It's the excitement of it all. Keane, Clough. Now Black with oceans of space out here. And he'll look to attack Kenner. Bill for handball. Keith Hackett says no. And Kenner rather wearily whacks the ball into the stands below us.
Southampton are a bit inclined to do that, though, Peter. They are inclined to tuck their fullbacks in very narrow and, in fact, give a lot of space in the wide position. I mean, Black actually started to look more of a threat than any of them.
And Forest, as we saw there, have managed more shots on target, but not so many lately. That's well read by Keane. And I'm sure he had one eye on Terry Hurlock.
Do you know, for a minute I thought he was going to leave his leg out against him.
Walker with a foot in ahead of Shearer. Fascinating confrontation between the two.
Yes, in all fairness, you'd have to say that Walker's won that one at the moment.
At the moment. Gemmell.
Now, this is the space they allow. And Black's getting more and more into the game. What's happening as well, he's dragging Letitia back.
But it's Horton now for Southampton. Arrowing his pass in search of Shearer. So Gary Charles had to be on his guard. It really is ebb and flow.
Yes, I think what Forest need to do is get the game back to a steady tempo. If the game is steady and nicely patterned, that's going to suit them far more than it will Southampton. Southampton need a very, very high tempo game.
This is Roddick. Walker with a free header. And a delicate touch off from Clough. Sheringham will try to link up with Clough again. We've got a second chance. Keane now. Oh, that's good tackling back though by Brett Cockerell. Very competitive final. And some very enterprising football throughout. Brian Clough, who must have thought the cup was won when Forest scored that second goal, had chances to have added further ones too. But he reckoned without the revival, the qualities of Southampton in coming back as they have. And if they keep playing like this, Southampton, I'm sure they'll hang on to their senior status too. Walker. That was Keane. Now then for Sheringham. Moore was there with him. Chettle. Now can he get his cross in from here? Well, there was no Forest player able to react. Now Letitia from this deep position here. He's the man who can do untold damage if Southampton can release him. Wassell and Dowie are getting rather silly. Oh, here it is. Little fracas that I think Dowie was the chief offender.
Yes, if anything, it should have been a free kick, shouldn't it, towards Nottingham Forest. But at least it shows they care. Extra time, they're being hard at it now for, you know, they're going to do 2 hours. And yet the passions are still running high for him.
Well, it was 3-2 when they met in the League Cup final back in '79. I wonder if it's going to be the same score today. Forest, of course, the winners on that occasion. Gemmell now. And his dad, Archie, was playing in that final. Slips it on towards Sheringham. He had a little bit of space to turn then. Clough. Now Keane. Whistles over the top. 13 goals from Roy Keane this season, and he wasn't too far away from number 40.
No, he's give that one the full gun. What's gone well for Forest in extra time is the fact they've been able to sort of reduce the number of throw-ins and corners. At the moment, Southampton haven't been able to get that pressure on, but they were applying so much in the last half hour of normal time.
Jeff Kenner. Shearer with Walker, who wins that particular aerial duel. Now Kenner again, on for Hurlock. Snapping away in midfield. Shearer's pass. On goes Hurlock. Got Letitia in there. Dowie waiting at the far post who wanted the cross.
Oh, if Hurlock could have just dug that one out. It wasn't easy for him, but if he could have just studied up to the far post. Dowie was completely unmarked.
Yes, he got away then, Dowie, and he looks furious. If only Hurlock could have found him, that would have to have been a third goal for Southampton. Now Letitia curling over the cross. In comes a posse of blue-shirted players, and Kenner drives it wide. The end of the first period of extra time. It's still 2-2. It's still such a tight contest.
Yes, I think Forest showed signs in that period of getting back to their rhythm. Didn't have to put up with much pressure apart from the very last seconds of the period.
So, Ron, would you venture now to suggest which way you think it's going to go?
I'd take a gamble on Forest, to be perfectly honest, particularly if they can keep giving Kingsley Black plenty of the ball. I think their way of playing is sometimes better suited to go over a long distance.
Well, they certainly have the passing game and the vision to open up defences. And as players begin to tire, maybe more opportunities will come their way. Hurlock. He hasn't shirked a single challenge all afternoon, Terry Hurlock. Now Black. He's got some space here. Sheringham cutting in. On goes Black. Well-timed tackle. Vital 1-2 from Roddick.
Yes, it was not too dissimilar a situation to the one we thought he should have had a penalty with, but I think Black could have gone a little bit more positively then.
The TCA arrogantly sweeping it on. Just too long though for Shearer.
Now that's twice he's played that ball, Letizia, in extra time. Good ball, favouring the strike. It just ran away a little bit. But he's still playing now. He's playing somewhere. He's playing most of the football from his own half of the field, where in that pressure period he was right up in the thick of things in attacking areas.
Kenner will allow that one to run out. It's a Southampton throw. Shearer. Out jumped though by Walker. In goes Barry Horn. Then Cockerell. That's Dowie taking over. Ran straight into Wassell. Clough to Sheringham. Crosby's the wide man here. And Benali tidies up for Southampton. Just to recap, for anyone not too sure of the rules here, it will be penalties, a penalty shootout, if they can't settle it after the 30 minutes of extra time. Shearer trying to get away, and he was quite clearly obstructed there. But this is a lot for the indirect free kick. Shearer was the player impeded. Now Roddick and Moore at the moment are outside the 18-yard box. Shearer almost got there. In goes Moore. Dowie! And he was there again, Marriott. Moore's attempted cross. I think that came off Charles, indeed it did. But the defiance of Andy Marriott saved Forest once more. That came off Gemmell there.
Yes, then you see all the big men come piling in just to keep the ball in play. Good reaction from Dowie and a very, very good save from Marriott.
But still, Southampton piling on the pressure. Letizia. Caught off the line. Dowie's header, I think. Chipped back in. The danger passes.
Yes, but they do give themselves some problems, don't they? By staying in there, by not marking, by just inviting the big Southampton players to run onto them.
Cockerell. Cross comes Walker. He's not happy about something, does Walker. I shouldn't think Frank Clough's too happy about his team's defending at the moment.
No, but
they really are.
I think that is a tried and trusted policy. It's the one they stick to. It's not something they're just doing today. It's the way the Forest do defend anyway. Letizia.
Here's Hall. Spreads it wide now then for Kenner. Didn't reach Dowie, and as Cockerell's shot rebounds off Letitia, referee Hackett blows the whistle for a free kick to Forest.
I would think that's what Des Walker's been talking to you about. He thinks there's probably a little bit of pushing going on off the ball.
Ruddock for Southampton. Up towards Shearer. Shackle, though, finds Kingsley Black for Forest. So drama continuing right to the end of the long road to the Zenith Cup final. Of course, we started off our first live game was 6-all. We had extra time and penalties then. I'm not suggesting this will be 6-all, but we've certainly had a lot of excitement. And maybe the extra drama of the penalty shootout still to come. Who knows? Here's Keane now for Forest. On goes Charles. Good run! And that was only inches away.
Yes, I must confess, when he hit it, I thought that was going in the roof of the net. But that's some brilliant link-up play. Brilliant little ball in. He's joined from the back.
Gary Charles, that inspired run, the England international, who hasn't always been certain of his place in the Forest side this season. Letitia couldn't get away though from Chattel and Clough.
Don't know whether that's a deliberate thing, whether they've just changed it for the last part of the game, but for most of the match, and I see he's gone back with him now, Walker's been man-to-man marking with Shearer and leaving Wassell against Dowie most of the game, but for a little period just, it's been the other way around.
Well, here's Walker now, marking nobody, and able to clear without too much discomfort. Black. Moore with the saving tackle, but a Forest throw.
Just looking round at the Southampton team, they appear to have a number of guys who you would think were pretty useful penalty kickers. Obviously Letitia, I mean, he never seems to miss one, does he?
I don't think he ever has in professional football. Charles, Roy Keane. Crosby to Charles. Beyond Sheringham, but Black is there to sweep it in. It's Gemmell. Gemmell the scorer.
I've got a horrible feeling the Southampton boys may feel there was a touch of offside about that one.
Well, we'll see again from the replay.
He's taken it very, very well.
Very sweetly accepted.
And held his nerve, to be fair to you, because he had plenty of time on it. He had plenty of time to panic even. It's a shade fortunate there because the ball just bobbled a little bit ugly. I'm not going to get a good view from there, but he looked to be in plenty of space behind the defence. No, he's not. That's a great finish.
6 minutes to go, and he had just stayed onside. The ball floating over Black and Sheringham, and it was Gemmell to restore Forest lead and set the Forest masses cheering again. Scott Gemmell with his second goal of the game. 3-2, just as it was in the League Cup final of '79 between the two. So once more, Southampton have to come from behind. 10 goals at 2 in this game. Crosby lost it. There again is that long ball, and well, what a finish by Gemmell. 5 minutes left. Can Southampton do it again? Or will this time Forest hold on?
In many ways, you know, that was a better goal than his first one, if not as spectacular. I mean, the first goal, he just had to hit it, a reflex action, instinct. Nobody would have blamed him if it had cleared the crossbar by yards. But that one, he had plenty of time on it, and everybody kept looking at it and wondering what he was going to do with it. He had plenty of time to whether to pull it down or whatever. But he's held his nerve, he's held it brilliantly there.
Clough, happy to kick it anywhere now. It's all or nothing for Southampton. Into the last 4 minutes. That came off Dowie. It's a Forest throw. There's Keppel. On from Black. Ian Bradford, well, there's nothing he could do. It's up to the players now. They've rallied before, and they'll be hoping they can do so again. Otherwise, the ZDS Cup is going to Nottingham Forest. Winners of the competition when it was the Simod Cup back in '89. That was a tremendous final against Everton. So is this one.
I think this is the best. I think this is the best one I've seen of these, because there's been a very, very good cutting edge to the game.
Sheringham. Time here for Bernali as the minutes tick away. Again angled up towards Shearer. Russell almost lost it before Hurlock kept flying in. Forest are almost there, but not quite. Shearer. Well, I thought that was a foul, but Keith Hackett, who's a lot closer than me, said no. So did the linesman, much to the indignation of Alan Shearer. Now, what is Kevin Moore doing there? That was rather foolish.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, he dwelt on the ball a long time just outside the box there. And I think Kevin Moore thought he had a genuine chance of sneaking in there. All right, the last yard, he looked terribly aggressive, but, I mean, Roy Keane was standing on the ball, the keeper's a yard away from him, with no apparent desire to do anything with it. And prior to that, Peter, Keane had been stood with his foot on the ball for ages. I mean, Moore has run virtually. I think Moore has run about 25 yards to try and make a challenge there.
So, some more attention, some more treatment needed for Andy Marriott, whose heart will be pumping away now.
I should also think there was a little bit of frustration because, as you so rightly said, he looked at all the world as if Shearer had been obstructed there.
Well, I found that decision rather strange when Keith Hackett said no, but as I said, he's a lot closer than us, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
It was for the penalty, Peter, but there's no doubt it was a penalty.
Into the last minute now. Gary Charles. That was Kevin Moore, who's deserted his defensive role now. It was he who scored the equaliser back in normal time. It'll be a long, long kick upfield from Tim Flowers. On from Dowie. Walker only partially away. Then it was scrambled clear by Wassell. Southampton now capped in the Forest half.
Yeah, they're going to make them go the distance. They've thrown everybody forward. All the big guns are in there.
No prizes for guessing. It'll be a long, long throw from Neil Ruddock. Didn't find Dowie. Huge roar of relief from the Forest fans. Chettle. Quite happy just to thump the ball up to Tim Flowers. We're now in injury time. On from Moore. And again, Walker accelerates across. Is Moore going to wait for Ruddock? He is to take the throw. Everybody's back for Forest. Everybody's up almost for Southampton. Certainly only Tim Flowers back at his own half. Here's Ruddock's throw. Fluff away. Benali. This is Kenner. Time's almost up. Ruddock with Horn. Horn's prepared to scrap for it still. Now then for Hurlock. Letitia to Kenner. Needs a good cross here. In goes Shearer and Dowie. And Horn too. And Keith Hackett has blown the whistle. A free kick to Nottingham Forest. But he knows he's been in a final, Andy Marriott. Well, as soon as let nobody down.
As soon as this ball's in flight, there's no danger what's going to happen, is there? They come flying in like the Arapaho there.
Keith Hackett has looked at his watch. It's almost all over now. And that's it. And Forest have won the Zenith Cup. And that's the reaction of the old master. A big kiss for Liam O'Kane, one of his assistants. And there's the hero for Nottingham Forest, Scott Gemmell with his 2 goals. But just listen to the applause ringing around Wembley for this superb final. Forest are the winners, but all credit to Southampton for the contribution that they have made in this absorbing contest. Disappointment for Southampton, but my word, they have played their part. As Brian Clough walks away, always the unpredictable man, and he is now leaving while his players take the accolades. Dejection on the faces of the Southampton players, of course. Jubilant scenes among the players of Nottingham Forest, who seemed to have the cup won, then had one hand yanked off the trophy by Southampton's comeback, and then Brian Clough seeing his team snatch it again towards the end with Scott Gemmell's 2nd goal. But a memorable final run.
Yes, as I've said on commentary, I think it's the best of these I've seen. Excitement, cutting edge, some quality play, and some out-and-out fighting spirit from Southampton. It was a game with everything.
Brian Clough acknowledging the support of the Forest fans, and he's getting a rousing reception too in return. Ian Branford, the first time he's been in charge of a team that hasn't won that at Wembley. Having tasted success as a manager with Reading and a coach with Crystal Palace. This time it's not to be, but he can be very proud of the way that his team have played. As Glenn Cockerell now leads the Southampton players up the steps. And they're getting an excellent response from the crowd here. They really did make a match of it. They'll be feeling pretty tired now as they trudge wearily up those steps. Glenn Cockerell applauding the fans, followed by Neil Ruddock. Just shaking hands with initially Joe Solari, the president of the Zenith Data Systems Europe. Losers, but much to be proud of. Alan Shearer, who was so tightly marked by Des Walker. Tim Flowers, heroics in the Southampton goal when it seemed Forest were about to run riot. And as the Southampton players make their way down the steps, Forest prepare to receive the trophy. Beaming smile from Scott Gemmell. Stuart Pearce there too. Lee Glover with the tracksuit top on there, who didn't feature at any stage in the game. It was Steve Chettle, of course, who came on for Pearce. And with Stuart Pearce not having completed the game, I think indeed it's Des Walker who will receive the cup for Nottingham Forest, followed by Andy Marriott. What a Wembley debut for him. Des Walker, one of the best defenders in Europe. I'm sure coveted eyes on him again today from the top clubs around the European scene, being linked, of course, with moves to Italy or perhaps to Spain at the end of the season. But for the moment, he's very much a Nottingham Forest player as he holds aloft the Zenith Cup. Nottingham Forest with their 4th trophy in this recent spell. So much success at Wembley. Teddy Sheringham, who had an excellent game for Forest. Darren Wassell in his first Wembley final. And every Forest player played his part, especially this man, Scott Gemmell. No wonder he's beaming, and how proud his father Archie will be of him. Just as Brian, of course, is delighted with the contribution that his son Nigel has made. And they'll be back here in 2 weeks' time to do it all over again in the Rumbelows Cup final. And let's hope that, from Forest's point of view, Stuart Pearce is there to play for them. Now, Scott Gemmell has been, I think not surprisingly, named the man of the match. So there'll be a presentation to him by David Hill, the head of Sky Sports. And there he is. David Hill just passing over the man of the match trophy to a delighted Scott Gemmell. Now, Scott is talking
said
with
to
Nick
me
Collins.
at half-time, it's a pity I never scored in front of their own Forest fans in the first half, so I said to him I'd try and get one, and I did, so it's just the way it goes, I suppose.
Marvellous occasion for you with your father on the bench, seeing you score twice.
Yeah, I don't think that's got anything, it doesn't make it any more special. My granddad's watching me for the first time ever, and for it to be at Wembley and score 2 goals is just unbelievable.
When Southampton came back from being 2 down to 2-2, did you still think you were going to do it?
Obviously a bit of doubt comes into your mind, but you've just got to try and get it behind you and hope for the best.
And that first goal you scored, tell us about that. It was a truly spectacular effort.
Well, in the warm-up I'd been shanking them all over the place, so it was just nice to hit one sweetly.
You can have a quick look at it here, actually. Wonderful finish.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever scored one like it.
Here it comes again from a different angle. Here it cross in there from Gary
This is the second one, yeah. As it's coming over, I don't know whether to try and control it or not. And eventually I just thought, I'm going to hit it, and it went in.
Well, 2 marvellous finishes. Scott, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And elated Scott Gemmell, man of the match, hero of Nottingham Forest, and then are receiving the applause from the crowd. Des Walker, the man carrying the cup. I wonder if he'll be around to carry any more cups in the future. Well, there's still a Rumbelows Cup. If Stuart Pearce doesn't make it, maybe Des Walker will be captain that day, but they'll be hoping that Pearce is out there, of course. And they certainly missed him. But in the end, all has come right for them. And Nottingham Forest have won the Zenith Cup by 3 goals to 2.
Well, Scott Gemmell, the Sky Sports man of the match. You can vote for yours. The number 0898 500 125. The Carlsberg man of the match, that's your choice. 0898 500 125. Some nice prizes up for grabs. Motorcycling, I'm afraid we can't show you the highlights now of the Japanese Grand Prix. 2:30 tomorrow afternoon is the rearranged time. Nottingham Forest have won the Zenith Data Systems Cup. We'll hear from the camp after the break. Here at Wembley with Sky Sports, there's a very happy young man, Scott Gemmell, whose 2 goals helped Nottingham Forest win the Zenith Data Systems Cup this afternoon. We'll get reaction from the camp in a moment or so. Just to underline what I was saying the other side of the break, no motorcycling now. We were going to show you highlights from the Japanese Grand Prix. Extra time means we can't. 2:30 tomorrow afternoon for that now. More live sport at 6 o'clock. Rugby League, Salford against Warrington. Followed by live motorsport from America at 8, the NASCAR 500. It's a great lineup here on Sky Sports. Larry, I think at the end of the day, justice was probably done.
Well, I think so. Over the 2 hours, I think Forest thoroughly deserved to win. There was a spell in the second half where in fact, you know, when Southampton got themselves back into the game, I was getting a little bit worried. By the beginning of the second half, it was men against boys. Up until that point, it was men against boys. Southampton, you know, might have come and sat up here with us and had a cup of tea.
Brains against brawn.
Yeah, exactly.
And class had out.
It certainly did. As I say, I was getting a bit embarrassed in the second half because they were just taking the mickey really out of Southampton. They were playing superb football, and it was marvellous to watch, unless you're a Saint supporter, you know. Yeah. But Southampton, in all fairness to them, they rolled their sleeves up, and exactly what we said, they got crosses, well, they got corners and throw-ins. There were always going to be dangers from them, and obviously they got their 2 goals back, quite deservedly so.
To Southampton when I say that, because they really did battle their way back and made a real game of it for us.
They certainly, as you say, the boys in midfield, Cockrell, Hurlock and Horn battled and really got them back in the game, and then I think the only thing was it was too much from an extra time.
The point was with these...
Inside the dressing room, Larry. Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
Don't often get inside post-match like this, do we? There's Walker. Where's your shirt, son? First 2 Forest goals. Let's have a look again. Scott Gemmell. Wonderful first.
Well, Keane gets up first of all tremendously well there, and there's Gemmell just a hook volley into the top of the net. No Southampton players to blame for that. It was very good.
Here's the second piece.
Kingsley's back. He's made a great run through. Look, just had one touch and then picked his spot. But again, no defenders near him at all. You know, bad marking as far as I'm concerned. On the edge of the box, they should have closed him down a lot quicker.
This is Southampton's response. Great ball this. I think it's the best cross I've seen all season.
Tremendous cross from Ruddock, and as Big Ron was saying, from the right area. And there it is, just a simple header really. He's only got to get his head to it and on target. That's a simple goal for him.
And look at the leap here, Larry. You'd have been proud of this.
It was around this, or a few minutes before this, that he's up above the crossbar, in fact. But it was about that time, or just before that time, that Southampton realised that the high ball into the centre of the Forest defence causing problems all afternoon.
And Scott Gemmell's winner.
Well, he's never going to hit 2 sweeter volleys in his life than this, let's be fair. So you hit 1 a season, he's hit 2 in 1 match. Tremendous finish, and he had a great game, the lad, didn't he?
It was a fabulous match, it really was. Marvellous game. Let's go downstairs to the dressing rooms again. I think Nick Collins is with Andy Marriott, the young keeper. Nick.
Well, we're down here in the dressing room with Andy Marriott, the Forest keeper. Very well done. How did you enjoy your first trip to Wembley?
It was superb. Couldn't believe how good the fans were. We were just pleased, obviously, in the end of the day to get the result.
Fairly high spirits in here. Were you nervous at all?
Yeah, especially waiting for the gaffer to announce the team. I think that was the most nerve-wracking thing. Not knowing until we got on the bus who was actually going to play. When he said I was playing, it was just fantastic.
Well, we're getting a bombardment in here, but tell us about some of the saves that you were forced to make, because Southampton really came back at you in that second half, didn't they?
Yeah, they did well second half. We weren't complacent at all when we went out after half-time, but we just didn't seem quite to get in the game. And their keeper was absolutely fantastic early doors in the second half, kept us out. Then they got the first goal and things went from there, really. We were under a bit pressure. We was just glad to get through to extra time.
Well, you've got a cut chin and a bit of blood on this jersey, but nothing to stop you enjoying the celebrations.
No, nothing at all. It was just a fantastic experience.
Andy, well done. Thank you very much indeed. Stuart, could we have a very quick word with you?
Well, Stuart Pearce getting the invitation to come and talk. I'm sure we'll be back downstairs in a moment or so. Let's go. Here we are. Nick Collins.
Stuart, mixed feelings, I guess. The injury, yet Forest did go on to win. First of all, how is your injury?
Well, it's a bit sore at the moment. I'll probably know a bit more next week, you know, what the problem is.
But do you expect to be able to be back here in a couple of weeks' time for the Rumbelows final?
That's something I really couldn't say at the moment, you know what I mean? Just obviously I'll get in tomorrow morning and find out what's going on.
What was it like for you to have to sit on the bench and watch that game unfold when you'd expected, obviously, to be playing a direct part in it?
Yeah, it was very difficult, you know, especially when sort of Southampton would come back into it 2-2, but as I say, all credit to the lads, sort of, you know, they survived when Southampton put the pressure on, they come back with a bit of character and nicked the game at the end.
For the neutrals, that must have been an absolutely marvellous game of football, but when you're sitting on the bench like that, I think it gets fairly tense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the worst place to be, really, you know. All credit to the lads out there, they've done magnificent, you know. We took the trophy home. To be fair, at one stage our back was up against the wall.
Well, you started the day as the captain. Were you tempted at the end to have gone up to pick the cup up, but you let Des go up in the end?
Yeah, well, Des come up to me and said, you know, go and get the cup, like, you know, it's over a whole season, this cup competition. I said, look, hang on a minute, I've sat out the game for sort of 2 hours, like, you go and do it. So all credit to him and the boys, you know. I'd rather send them up the stairs first, because they're the ones who've won the game for us today.
It was a great game though, wasn't it? No doubt about it.
From our point of view, yeah.
Stuart, thank you very much indeed.
Lovely,
thanks
a lot. Cheers.
So much excitement up here, half the gear stopped working, but you'll excuse this for a moment or so. The young boy we were talking to, the goalkeeper, Peter, Andy Marriott, he will remember this game for the rest of his life.
Yes, he certainly will. He's made some great saves, let's be fair, and he's shown a lot of character. We said they didn't test him early on, but they certainly tested him later on. The crosses came in thick and fast, and here's a header from Shearer, which he takes very comfortably, very nicely. Great positional play there. Here again, he makes a tremendous save. In all fairness, though, it goes straight at him, but Hurlock gives us a mighty crack, and it's a reflex save, push straight over. Certain goal.
Larry.
Yeah, but in fairness to those two incidents there, they moved away. The Forest defenders moved out and allowed him a bit of space to see the ball.
That's a great save.
Yeah, that's brilliant. You know, his reflexes on 2 occasions were marvellous.
A very courageous performance, because for half an hour he took a real battering, didn't he?
Well, we said early on, didn't we? We said that they should test him out. As I say, they didn't disappoint him in the last half an hour, because they certainly tested his character, and he came through it great.
That's right, but I felt, Peter, that really he didn't get an awful lot of help from the Forest central defenders. I mentioned it earlier on. They kept backing onto him. You know yourself that a goalkeeper likes space to come and get the ball. Sure, but instead of having 2 Southampton forwards to deal with, he had also 2 Forest defenders. So 4 people he's got to climb above. So they didn't really help him there.
Forest have won this one. Great match. A little bit quiet in there, Peter, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way. I don't know where the boss is. Perhaps he's that's the reason why. Perhaps he's still in there. But yeah, they do seem very quiet, very subdued.
Carlsberg man of the match. We've chosen ours. It was Scott Gemmell. If you want to make up your mind, you can call on this number, 0898 500 125, and get into the hat for tickets. Match against England against Brazil later in the season, and that's the top prize. Now, the next live football here on Sky Sports is Tuesday night, Celtic against Rangers, Scottish Cup semi-final from Hampden Park, and that's followed by Milan against Juventus. So a great double bill of football coming up on Tuesday. We're here until 6 o'clock. Suggestion perhaps for your vote in the election. He'd love it, wouldn't he, Brian Clough? More to come after the break. Welcome back. The first Wembley final of the season, all sorted out. Nottingham Forest 3, Southampton 2. It's Mother's Day, of course. Some proud dads around, nevertheless. Imagine if your son had scored a couple here today. Archie Gemmells did. He's with Nick Collins.
Well, Archie, this must be one of your proudest moments, seeing your son Scott score 2 goals at Wembley in a cup final.
Oh, I'm just delighted for the club. As I say, we've came last year and we were rather disappointed at the FA Cup after it. But this makes up for it a little bit. I thought overall it was a superb game. Both teams gave everything they had, and as I say, we run out the winners in the death.
To lose Stuart Pearce so early on in a game like that must have been a real blow, though, for Forest.
It is, because Stuart's one of the main men in our team. You know, he drives us on, even when things are going bad. He's always there, encouraging, keeping things going. Great captain, great player, but sometimes we just got to overcome these things, and I think the lad's done that.
Scott's contribution, he was named man of the match for his 2 goals afterwards. You looked as if you leapt in the air when the 3rd one went in.
Oh, very much so, as I say. It was not just because it was him, it's just in general. You know, we knew we were getting towards the end of the game, and possibly we were only looking forward to the penalty kicks.
And I think here's a chance for you to have a look at Scott's efforts here. Here it comes.
Yeah, just come across.
That's the winner.
Well, he shut his eyes, he told me.
He shut his eyes?
Yeah, no, as I said, it was a very hard chance to take, but one of these things here, going as they go over the bar.
This is a great day, though, for the Gemmell family, isn't it?
Well, it's a good day for everybody concerned. You know, not just Scott and myself. It's good for everybody at the club. We like winning things, and as I say, we've got Manchester United in a couple of weeks. We'll need a little bit of rest after that, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Probably fancy coming back yet again, because you've been regular visitors here over the years, haven't you?
Very much so. As I said, I'd done a little interview with you lads earlier on in the week, and we would like to come every week. because it's the best place in the world to come. Fans are terrific, atmosphere's terrific, and I say you get good football, so we would come every week if we could.
Archie, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Okay.
They all but do, don't they? Nottingham Forest, who are back, of course, for the Rambelows next month. Now, this one wasn't the only game taking place today. We had our camera in the dressing room a little earlier of the old Wilsonians' 7th 11, if you remember. They were playing AFC Goat and Compass. Game's finished. Let's go back and rejoin the Cat.
Don't ask me. Do you know, the first half was the second worst 45 minutes of my life. The worst 45 minutes of my life was the second half. I blame the ref for our plight. I remonstrated with him at half-time. I said, "Pardon me, ref." He said, "Who is it?" I said, "It's me, the Cat." I said, "No, I'm over here." I said, "I wish to make an official complaint about you tying your guide dog to my left-hand post." He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, firstly, I think one of the players with a misplaced sense of humour has swapped your Labrador for a pit bull terrier." He said, "No, Vinny always looks like that. He has trouble with his glands." I said, "In any case, I don't think Vinny likes cats, which gives me a bit of a complex. And secondly, I think he had a curry last night." He said, "That aside, how may I help you?" I said, "Will there be extra time?" He said, "Only if it's a draw. And you are 6-0 down at the moment." I said, "You're not counting all of them, are you?" I said, "After all, 4 of them went in off your dog." Well, I will gloss over the second half, except to say that I do not feel we have made the best use of our first leg home advantage. Being 14-1 down could trouble a lesser side than ourselves in the second leg, even if, in this competition, home goals do count double. On a brighter note, and modesty almost forbids me to reveal this, on my way to the dressing room, our generous opponents have nominated me for their Man of the Match award. Well, this is the Cat, Sky Sports, Wimbledon Common Extension, off to the Goat and Compass.
Thank you, Bob. That's the first leg of the Sinclair C5 Intermediate Invitation Charity Cup. First leg. Scott Gemmell, our man of the match here. Well, Larry Lloyd and Peter Osgoods. Yours, you can vote on 0898 500 125. That's the Carlsberg man of the match, and we'll let you know who's won that this coming Friday in Sky Soccer Weekend. Enjoyed yourselves, gentlemen?
Yes, for me, excellent afternoon. Forest, I thought they would win. At one stage, I was a little bit worried. You know, Southampton put a lot of pressure on, but they came through, rightly so, I think.
Obviously, I haven't enjoyed the result, but I enjoyed the game. Yes, very much. 5 goals, you can't wish for more in a final, and extra time again, Richard.
We weren't so far away from the penalty.
No, we weren't. No, that's right. We had a chance if we get to penalties, didn't we? Southampton had a great chance, I've got to admit, yeah. But
it was a great match, wasn't it? Great entertainment.
Well, I'm sure. You know, football benefited this afternoon. There was 70,000 people out there. You know, there was an awful lot of noise. I think everybody enjoyed it. Obviously, the Southampton people are not going to be very happy at the moment driving south, but you know, as a football spectacle, as a neutral, you would enjoy it. That's English football at its best.
Saints have got to get their minds on this relegation battle now.
They have. Well, I mean, just saying what Larry was saying, there was two completely different sort of games of football. One was a lovely flowing method, and the other one was that long ball into the channels, and unfortunately, for Southampton it didn't pay off, but I think for football it was a good, advert, and yes, they've got to get their minds on the relegation. They've had some good results recently, and hopefully now they can roll their sleeves up and get out of it.
Enjoyed your company, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Well done.
He's a great loser, Peter, isn't he? Mind you, he's got used to that this season. Auto Glass Trophy, let's tell you about football that's up and coming here on Sky Sports. Stoke City against Peterborough, that's live, the 6th of April, a Monday, Southern Area final, first leg. The next live football, of course, is this coming Tuesday. That's Glasgow Celtic against Rangers, the big battle, and it's live from Hampden Park. That programme kicks off at 7:30, and we follow it with Juventus and Milan. Hope you've enjoyed it. The first Wembley final of the season. Couple of goals from Scott Gemmell. Smashing match from all of us here at Wembley Stadium. Thanks for your company, and we'll see you next time around. Bye-bye for now.